Act One of The Roaring Girl by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae. Sir Alexander Wengrave.
Read by Algy Pug.
Sebastian Wengrave, his son.
Read by Nolan Fount.
Sir Guy Fitzallard.
Read by Leonard Wilson.
Sir Davy Dapper. Sir Beauteous Ganymede.
Read by Rick F.
Jack Dapper.
Read by Adam Knapp.
Sir Adam Appleton. Sir Thomas Long.
Read by David Lawrence.
Lord Noland.
Read by Tricia G.
Goshawk.
Read by David Eisenhower.
Laxton.
Recorded by Chuck Williamson.
Greenwit.
Read by Peake.
Gallipot, an apothecary.
Read by Leonard Wilson.
Tiltyard, a feather seller.
Read by Tricia G.
Openwork, a semester.
Read by M.B.
Neatfoot, Sir A. Wengrave's man.
Read by Elizabeth Klett.
Gull, page to Jack Dapper.
Read by Tiffany Halla Colonna.
Trapdoor.
Read by David Nichol.
Tearcat, read by Todd. Coachman, Taylor.
Read by Rick F.
Kurtliax, a sergeant.
Read by Peake.
Hanger, his yeoman. Moll, the roaring girl.
Read by Elizabeth Klett.
Mary Fitzallard, daughter of Sir Guy.
Read by Amanda Friday.
Mistress Gallipot.
Read by Ariel Lipshaw.
Mistress Tiltyard.
Read by Lucy Perry.
Mistress Openwork.
Read by Christine G.
Narrator, read by Todd. Prologue. A play expected long makes the audience look for wonders, that each scene should be a book composed to all perfection. Each one comes and brings a play in's head with him. Up he sums that he would of a roaring girl have writ, if that he finds not here, he mews at it. Only we do entreat you think our scene cannot speak high, the subject being but meed, a roaring girl, whose notes till now ne'er were, shall fill with laughter our vast theatre. That's all which I dare promise. Tragic passion and such grave stuff is this day out of fashion. I see attention sets wide open gates of hearing, and with covetous listening waits to know what girl this roaring girl should be, for of that tribe are many. One is she that roars at midnight in deep tavern bowls, that beats the watch and constables controls. Another roars in the daytime, swears, stabs, gives braves, yet sells her soul to the lust of fools and slaves. Both these are sub-roarers. Then there's beside a civil city roaring girl, whose pride, feasting, and riding shakes her husband's state, and leaves him roaring through an iron grate. None of these roaring girls is ours. She flies with wings more lofty. Thus her character lies. Yet what need characters, when to give a guess is better than the person to express? But would you note who 'tis? Would you hear her name? She's called Mad Moll. Her life our acts proclaim. Scene, London. Act the first. Scene 1. A room in Sir Alexander Wengrave's house. Enter Mary Fitzallard, disguised like a sempster, with a case for bands, and Neatfoot with her, a napkin on his shoulder, and a trencher in his hand, as from the table.
The young gentleman, our young master, Sir Alexander's son. Is it into his ears, sweet damsel, emblem of fragility, you desire to have a message transported, or to be transcendent?
A private word or two, sir, nothing else.
You shall fructify in that which you come for. Your pleasure shall be satisfied to your full contentation. I will, fairest tree of generation, watch when our young master is erected, that is to say, up, and deliver him to this your most white hand.
Thanks, sir.
And withal certify him that I have culled out for him, now his belly is replenished, a daintier bit o' modicum than any lay upon his trencher at dinner. Hath he any notion of your name, I beseech your chastity?
One, sir, of whom he bespake falling bands.
Falling bands? It shall so be given him. If you please to venture your modesty in the hall amongst a curl-pated company of rude serving-men, and take such as they can set before you, you shall be most seriously and ingeniously welcome.
I have dined indeed already, sir.
Or will you vouchsafe to kiss the lip of a cup of rich Orleans in the buttery amongst our waiting women?
Not now, in truth, sir.
Our young master shall then have a feeling of your being here. Presently it shall so be given him.
I humbly thank you, sir.
Exit Neatfoot.
But that my bosom is full of bitter sorrows, I could smile to see this formal ape play antic tricks. But in my breast a poisoned arrow sticks, and smiles cannot become me. Love woven slightly, such as thy false heart makes, wears out as lightly. But love being truly bred, in the soul like mine, bleeds even to death at the least wound it takes. The more we quench this fire, the less it slakes. O me!
Enter Sebastian Wingrave with Neatfoot.
A sempster speak with me, sayest thou?
Yes, sir. She's there, viva voce, to deliver her auricular confession.
With me, sweetheart? What is't?
I have brought home your banns, sir.
Banns? Neatfoot.
Sir?
Prithee, look in, for all the gentlemen are upon rising.
Yes, sir. A most methodical attendance shall be given.
And dost hear, if my father call for me, say I am busy with the sempster.
Yes, sir. He shall know it, that you are busied with a needle-woman.
In's ear, good Neatfoot.
It shall be so given him.
Exit.
Banns? You are mistaken, sweetheart, I bespake none. When? Where, I pray thee? What banns? Let me see them.
Yes, sir, a bond fast sealed with solemn oaths, subscribed unto, as I thought, with your soul, delivered as your deed in sight of heaven. Is this bond cancelled? Have you forgot me?
Ha! Life of my life, Sir Guy Fitzallard's daughter, what has transformed my love to this strange shape? Stay, make all sure.
Shuts the door.
So, now speak and be brief. Because the wolf's at the door lies in wait to prey upon us both, albeit mine eyes are blessed by thine, yet this so strange disguise holds me with fear and wonder.
Mine's a loathed sight. Why from it are you banished else so long?
I must cut short my speech. In broken language, thus much, sweet Moll. I must thy company shun, I court another, Moll. My thoughts must run, as a horse runs that's blind round a mill, out of every step, yet keeping one's path still.
Oh, must you shun my company? In one knot have both our hands by the hands of heaven been tied, now to be broke? I thought me once your bride. Our fathers did agree on the time when, and must another bedfellow fill my room?
Sweet maid, let's lose no time. 'Tis in heaven's book set down that I must have thee, an oath we took to keep our vows. But when the night your father was from mine parted, storms began to sit upon my covetous father's brows, which fell from them on me. He reckoned up what gold this marriage would draw from him, at which he swore to lose so much blood could not grieve him more. He then dissuades me from thee, called thee not fair, and asked what is she but a beggar's heir. He scorned thy dowry of 5,000 marks, if such a sum of money could be found, and I would match with that. He could not undo it, provided his bags might add nothing to it, but vowed if I took thee, nay, more, did swear it, save birth from him, I nothing should inherit.
What follows then, my shipwreck?
Dearest, no. Though wildly in a labyrinth I go, my end is to meet thee with a side wind. Must I now sail, else I no haven can find, but both must sink for ever. There's a wench called Moll, Mad Moll, or Merry Moll, a creature so strange in quality a whole city takes note of her name and person. All that affection I owe to thee on her in counterfeit passion I spend to mad my father. He believes I dote upon this roaring girl, and grieves as it becomes a father for a son that could be so bewitched. Yet I'll go on this crooked way, sigh still for her, feign dreams in which I'll only talk of her. These streams shall, I hope, force my father to consent that here I anchor, rather than be rent upon a rock so dangerous. Art thou pleased, because thou seest we're waylaid, that I take a path that's safe, though it be far about?
My prayers with heaven guide thee.
Then I will on. My father is at hand. Kiss and be gone. Ours shall be watched for meeting. I must now, as men for fear, to a strange idol bow.
Farewell.
I'll guide thee forth. When next we meet, a story of mole shall make our mirth more sweet.
Excellent. Enter Sir Wingrave, Sir Davy Dapper, Sir Adam Appleton, Gosock, Laxton, and gentlemen.
Thanks, good Sir Alexander, for our bounteous cheer.
Fie, fie, in giving thanks you pay too dear.
When bounty spreads the table, faith, 'twere sin, at going off, if thanks should not step in.
No more of thanks, no more. I marry, sir, the inner room was too close. How do you like this parlour, gentlemen?
Oh, passing well.
What a sweet breath the air casts here. So cool.
I like the prospect best.
See how 'tis furnished.
A very fair, sweet room.
Sir Davy Dapper, the furniture that doth adorn this room cost many a fair grey groat ere it came here. But good things are most cheap when they're most dear. Nay, when you look into my galleries, how bravely they're trimmed up, you all shall swear you're highly pleased to see what's set down there. Stories of men and women mixed together, fair ones with foul, like sunshine in wet weather. Within one square 1,000 heads are laid, so close that all of heads the room seems made. As many faces there, filled with blithe looks, show like the promising titles of new books, writ merrily, the readers being their own eyes, which seem to move and give plaudites. And here and there, whilst with obsequious ears thronged heaps do listen, a cutpurse thrusts and leers with hawk's eyes for his prey. I need not show him. By a hanging villainous look yourselves may know him. The face is drawn so rarely. Then, sir, below the very floor, as 'twere, waves to and fro, and like a floating island seems to move upon a sea bound in with shores above.
Re-enter Sebastian Wingrave with Greenwit.
These sights are excellent.
I'll show you all. Since we are met, make our parting comical.
This gentleman, my friend, will take his leave, sir.
Ha! Take his leave, Sebastian? Who?
This gentleman.
Your love, sir, has already given me some time, and if you please to trust my age with more, it shall pay double interest. Good sir, stay.
I have been too bold.
Not so, sir. A merry day mongst friends being spent is better than gold saved. Some wine, some wine. Where be these knaves I keep?
Re-enter Neatfoot with several servants.
At your worshipful elbow, sir.
You're kissing my maids, drinking, or fast asleep.
Your worship is giving it us right.
You varlets, stir. Chairs, stools, and cushions. Prithee, Sir Davy Dapper, make that chair thine.
'Tis but an easy gift, and yet I thank you for it, sir. I'll take it.
A chair for old Sir Adam Appleton.
A back friend to your worship.
Marry, good Neatfoot, I thank thee for it. Back friends sometimes are good.
Pray make that stool your perch, good Master Goshawk.
I stoop to your lure, sir.
Son Sebastian, take Master Greenwit to you.
Sit, dear friend.
Nay, Master Laxton, furnish Master Laxton with what he wants. A stone? A stool, I would say, a stool.
I had rather stand, sir.
Excellent, Neatfoot and servants.
I know you had, good Master Laxton. So. Now here's a mess of friends, and a gentleman, because time's glass shall not be running long, I'll quicken it with a pretty tale.
Good tales do well, in these bad days, where vice does so excel.
Begin, Sir Alexander.
Last day I met an aged man upon whose head was scored a debt of just so many years as these, which I owe to my grave. The man you all know.
His name, I pray you, sir.
Nay, you shall pardon me. But when he saw me, with a sigh that brake, or seemed to break, his heartstrings, thus he spake. "Oh, my good knight," says he, and then his eyes were richer even by that which made them poor. They spent so many tears they had no more. "Oh, sir," says he, "you know it, for you have seen blessings to rain upon mine house and me. Fortune, who slaves men, was my slave. Her will hath spun me golden threads, for, I thank heaven, I never had but one cause to curse my stars." I asked him then what that one cause might be.
"So, sir?"
"So, sir."
He paused, and as we often see a sea so much becalmed, there can be found no wrinkle on his brow, his waves being drowned in their own rage. But when the imperious winds use strange invisible tyranny to shake both heaven's and earth's foundations at their noise, the seas, swelling with wrath to part that fray, rise up and are more wild, more mad than they. Even so this good old man was by my question stirred up to roughness. You might see his gall flow e'en in's eyes. Then grew he fantastical.
Fantastical? Ha ha!
Yes, and talked oddly.
Pray, sir, proceed. How did this old man end?
Marry, sir, thus. He left his wild fit to read o'er his cards. Yet then, though age cast snow on all his hairs, he joyed because, says he, the god of gold has been to me no niggard. That disease, of which all old men sicken, avarice, never infected me.
Aside.
He means not himself, I'm sure.
For, like a lamp, fed with continual oil, I spend and throw my light to all that need it, yet have still enough to serve myself. Oh, but, quoth he, though heaven's dew fall thus on this aged tree, I have a son that like a wedge doth cleave my very heart-root.
Had he such a son?
Aside.
Now I do smell a fox strongly.
Let's see. No, Master Greenwit is not yet so mellow in years as he, but as like Sebastian, just like my son Sebastian, such another.
Aside.
How finely, like a fencer, my father fetches his by-blows to hit me. But if I beat you not at your own weapon of subtlety.
This son, saith he, that should be the column and main arch unto my house, the crutch unto my age, becomes a whirlwind shaking the firm foundation.
'Tis some prodigal.
Aside.
Well shot, old Adam Bell.
No city monster neither, no prodigal, but sparing, wary civil, and though wifeless, an excellent husband, and such a traveller, he has more tongues in his head than some have teeth.
I have but two in mine.
So sparing and so wary? What then could vex his father so?
Oh, a woman!
A flesh fly that can vex any man.
A scurvy woman, on whom the passionate old man swore he doted. A creature, saith he, nature hath brought forth to mock the sex of woman. It is a thing one knows not how to name. Her birth began ere she was all made. 'Tis woman more than man, man more than woman. And which to none mayhap, the sun gives her two shadows to one shape. Nay, more, let this strange thing walk, stand, or sit, no blazing star draws more eyes after it.
A monster! 'Tis some monster!
She's a varlet.
Aside.
Now is my cue to bristle.
A naughty pack.
'Tis false.
Ha, boy?
'Tis false.
What's false? I say she's naught.
I say, that tongue that dares speak so, but yours, sticks in the throat of a rank villain. Set yourself aside.
So, sir, what then?
Any here else had lied. I think I shall fit you.
Lie?
Yes.
Doth this concern him?
Ah, sirrah boy, is your blood heated? Boils it? Are you stung? I'll pierce you deeper yet. Oh, my dear friends, I am that wretched father, this that son that sees his ruin, yet headlong on doth run.
Will you love such a poison?
Fie, fie!
You're all mad.
Thou'rt sick at heart, yet feel'st it not. Of all these, what gentleman but thou, knowing his disease, mortal, would shun the cure? O Master Greenwit, would you to such an idol bow?
Not I, sir.
Here's Master Laxton. Has he mind to a woman as thou hast?
No, not I, sir.
Sir, I know it.
Their good parts are so rare, their bad so common, I will have naught to do with any woman.
'Tis well done, Master Laxton.
O thou cruel boy, thou wouldst with lust an old man's life destroy. Because thou seest I'm halfway in my grave, thou shovelst dust upon me. Would thou mightst have thy wish, most wicked, most unnatural.
Why, sir, 'tis thought Sir Guy Fitzallard's daughter shall wed your son Sebastian.
Sir Davy Dapper, I have upon my knees wooed this fond boy to take that virtuous maiden.
Hark you, a word, sir. On your knees you have cursed that virtuous maiden and me for loving her. Yet do you now thus baffle me to my face? Wear not your knees in such entreaties. Give me Fitzallard's daughter.
I'll give thee ratsbane rather.
Well then, you know what dish I mean to feed upon.
Hark, gentlemen, he swears to have this cut-purse drab to spite my gall.
Master Sebastian!
I am deaf to you all. I am so bewitched, so bound to my desires, tears, prayers, threats, nothing can quench out those fires that burn within me.
Exit.
Her blood shall quench it then. Loose him not. Oh, dissuade him, gentlemen.
He shall be weaned, I warrant you.
Before his eyes lay down his shame, my grief, his miseries.
No more, away.
Exeunt all but Sir Alexander Wengrave.
I wash a negro, losing both pains and cost. But take thy flight, I'll be most near thee when I'm least in sight. While back I'll hunt thee breathless, thou shalt run on, but I will turn thee when I'm not thought upon.
Enter trap-door with a letter.
Now, sirrah, what are you? Leave your ape's tricks, and speak.
A letter from my captain to your worship.
Oh, now I remember. 'Tis to prefer thee into my service.
To be a shifter under your worship's nose of a clean trencher when there's a good bit upon't.
Troth, honest fellow. Let me see. This knave shall be the axe to hew that down at which I stumble. Has a face which promiseth much of a villain. I will grind his wit, and if the edge prove fine, make use of it. Come hither, sirrah. Canst thou be secret? Ha?
As two crafty attorneys plotting the undoing of their clients.
Didst never, as thou walk'st about this town, hear of a wench called Moll? Mad Mary Moll?
Moll Cutpurse, sir.
The same. Dost thou know her, then?
As well as I know 'twill rain upon Simon and Jude's day next. I will sift all the taverns in the city, and drink half pots with all the watermen of the bankside. But if you will, sir, I'll find her out.
That task is easy. Do't then. Hold thy hand up. What's this? Is't burnt?
No, sir, no. A little singed with making fireworks.
Gives money.
There's money. Spend it. That being spent, fetch more.
Oh, sir, that all the poor soldiers in England had such a leader. For fetching, no water spaniel is like me.
This wench we speak of strays so from her kind, nature repents she made her. 'Tis a mermaid hath told my son to shipwreck.
I'll cut her comb for you.
I'll tell out gold for thee then. Hunt her forth, cast out a line hung full of silver hooks to catch her to thy company. Deep spendings may draw her that's most chaste to a man's bosom.
The jingling of golden bells and a good fool with a hobby horse will draw all the whores in the town to dance in a morris.
Or rather, for that's best, they say sometimes she goes in breeches. Follow her as her man.
And when her breeches are off, she shall follow me.
Beat all thy brains to serve her.
Zoons, sir, as country wenches beat cream till butter comes.
Play thou the subtle spider. Weave fine nets to ensnare her very life.
Her life?
Yes, suck her heart-blood if thou canst. Twist thou but cords to catch her, I'll find law to hang her up.
Spoke like a worshipful bencher.
Trace all her steps. At this she-fox's den watch what lambs enter. Let me play the shepherd to save their throats from bleeding, and cut hers.
This is the gall shall do it.
Be firm, and gain me ever thine own. This done, I entertain thee. How is thy name?
My name, sir, is Rafe Trapdoor. Honest Rafe.
Trapdoor, belike thy name, a dangerous step for her to venture on. But unto me...
As fast as your soul to your boot or shoe, sir.
Hence then, be little seen here as thou canst. I'll still be at thine elbow.
The trapdoor's set. Moll, if you budge, you're gone. This me shall crown. A roaring boy the roaring girl puts down.
God of mercy, lose no time.
Excellent. End of Act 1. Act 2 of The Roaring Girl by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act the Second. Scene 1. 3 shops open in a rank. The first an apothecary's shop, the next a feather shop, the third a sempster's shop. Mistress Gallipot in the first, Mistress Tiltyard in the second, Open Work and Mistress Open Work in the third. Enter Laxton, Goshawk, and Greenwit.
Gentlemen, what is your lack? What is your buy? See fine bands and ruffs, fine lawns, fine cambrics. What is your lack, gentlemen? What is your buy?
Yonder's the shop.
Is that she?
Peace.
She that minces tobacco?
Ay, she's a gentlewoman born, I can tell you, though it be her hard fortune now to shred Indian pot herbs.
Oh, sir, 'tis many a good woman's fortune, when her husband turns bankrupt, to begin with pipes and set up again.
And indeed, the raising of the woman is the lifting up of the man's head at all times. If one flourish, the other will but as fast, I warrant ye.
Come, thou'rt familiarly acquainted there, I grope that.
And you grope no better in the dark. You may chance lie in the ditch when you are drunk.
Go, thou'rt a mystical lecher.
I will not deny, but my credit may take up an ounce of pure smoke.
May take up an ell of pure smock. Away go.
Aside.
'Tis the closest striker. Life, I think he commenced venery foot deep. No man swear on't. I, like a palpable smockster, go to work so openly with tricks of art that I'm as apparently seen as a naked boy in a vial. And were it not for gift of treachery that I have in me to betray my friend when he puts most trust in me, mass, yonder he is too, and by his injury to make good my access to her, I should be as defective in courting as a farmer's son, the first day of his feather that doth nothing at court but woo the hangings in glass windows for a month together, and some broken-waited woman forever after. I find those imperfections in my venery that were not for flattery and falsehood, I should want discourse and impudence, and he that wants impudence among women is worthy to be kicked out at bed's feet. He shall not see me yet.
Troth, this is finely shred.
Oh, women are the best mincers.
T'ad been a good phrase for a cook's wife, sir.
But 'twill serve generally, like the front of a new almanac, as thus, calculated for the meridian of cook's wives, but generally for all Englishwomen.
Nay, you shall ha't, sir. I have filled it for you.
She puts the pipe to the fire.
The pipe's in a good hand, and I wish mine always so.
But not to be used in that fashion.
Oh, pardon me, sir, I understand no French. I pray be covered. Jack, a pipe of rich smoke.
Rich smoke? That's 6 pence a pipe, is it?
To me, sweet lady.
Be not forgetful. Respect my credit. Seems strange. Art and wit makes a fool of suspicion. Pray be wary.
Push, I warrant you. Come, how is it, gallants?
Pure and excellent.
I thought 'twas good. You are grown so silent. You are like those who love not to talk at victuals, though they make a worse noise in the nose than a common fiddler's prentice, and discourse a whole supper with snuffling. I must speak a word with you anon.
Make your way wisely, then.
Oh, what else, sir? He's perfection itself, full of manners, but not an acre of ground belonging to him.
Ay, and full of form. Has ne'er a good stool in's chamber.
But above all, religious. He prayeth daily upon elder brothers.
And valiant above measure, has run 3 streets from a sergeant.
He blows tobacco in their faces.
Oh, pooh.
Oh, pah, ho, ho.
So.
What's the matter now, sir?
I protest I'm in extreme want of money. If you can supply me now with any means, you do me the greatest pleasure, next to the bounty of your love, as ever poor gentleman tasted.
What's the sum would pleasure ye, sir, though you deserve nothing less at my hands?
Why, 'tis but for want of opportunity, thou knowest.
Aside.
I put her off with opportunity still. By this light I hate her, but for means to keep me in fashion with gallants. For what I take from her I spend upon other wenches. Bear her in hand still. She has wit enough to rob her husband, and I ways to consume the money. Why, how now? What, the Chinkoff?
Thou hast the cowardliest trick to come up before a man's face and strangle him ere he be aware. I could find in my heart to make a quarrel in earnest.
Pox, and thou dost! Thou knowest I never use to fight with my friends. Thou'll but lose thy labour in it. Jack Dapper!
Enter Jack Dapper and Gull.
Sir Dapper, I dive down to your ankles.
Save ye, gentlemen. All 3 in a peculiar salute.
He were ill to make a lawyer. He dispatches 3 at once.
So, well said. But is this of the same tobacco, Mistress Gallipot?
The same you had at first, sir.
I wish it no better. This will serve to drink at my chamber.
Shall we taste a pipe on't?
Not of this, by my troth, gentlemen. I have sworn before you.
What? Not Jack Dapper?
Pardon me, sweet Jack. I'm sorry I made such a rash oath, but foolish oaths must stand. Where art going, Jack?
Faith, to buy 1 feather.
Aside.
1 feather? The fool's peculiar still.
Gull.
Master.
Here's 3 halfpence for your ordinary. Boy, meet me an hour's hence in Paul's.
Aside.
How? 3 single halfpence? Life, this will scarce serve a man in sauce. A ha'porth of mustard, a ha'porth of oil, and a ha'porth of vinegar. What's left then for the pickle herring? This shows like small beer in the morning after a great surfeit of wine all night. He could spend his £3 last night in a supper amongst girls and brave body-house boys. I thought his pockets cackled for nothing. These are the eggs of £3. I'll go sup 'em up presently.
And exit.
8, 9, 10 angels. Good wench, in faith, and one that loves darkness well. She puts out a candle with the best tricks of any drugster's wife in England. But that which mads her, I rail upon opportunity still, and take no notice on it. The other night she would needs lead me into a room with a candle in her hand, to show me a naked picture, where no sooner entered but the candle was sent of an errant. Now I not intending to understand her, but like a puny at the ends of venery, called for another light innocently. Thus reward I all her cunning with simple mistaking. I know she cozens her husband to keep me, and I'll keep her honest as long as I can, to make the poor man some part of amends. An honest mind of a whore, master. How think you amongst you? What, a fresh pipe? Draw in a third man.
No, you're a hoarder. You're engrossed by the ounces.
At the feather shop.
Puh, I like it not.
What feather is't you'll have, sir? These are most worn and most in fashion amongst the beaver gallants, the stone riders, the private stages audience, the 12-penny stool gentlemen. I can inform you 'tis the general feather.
And therefore I mislike it. Tell me of general. Now, a continual Simon and Jude's rain beat all your feathers as flat down as pancakes. Show me a spangled feather.
Oh, to go a-feasting with. You'd have it for a hench boy, you shall.
At the sempster shop.
Oh, mass, I had quite forgot his honour's footman was here last night, wife. How you done with my lord's shirt?
What's that to you, sir? I was this morning at his honour's lodging. Such a snail as you crept out of your shell.
Oh, 'twas well done, good wife.
I hold it better, sir, than if you had done it yourself.
Nay, so say I. But is the Countess's smock almost done, mouse?
Hey, as to cambric, sir, but once, I fear me.
I'll resolve you of that presently.
Hoida! Oh, a dosher's groom! Dare you presume to noblewoman's linen? Keep you your yard to measure Shepherd Holland. I must confine you, I see that.
At the tobacco shop.
What say you to this gear?
I dare the errantest critic in tobacco to lay one fault upon it.
Enter Moll, in a frieze jerkin and a black safeguard.
Life, yonder's Moll.
Moll? Which Moll?
Honest Moll.
Prithee, let's call her. Moll!
Moll, Moll, psst, Moll.
Psst, Moll.
How now? What's the matter?
A pipe of good tobacco, Moll?
I cannot stay.
Nay, Moll, pah. Prithee hark, but one word, i' faith.
Well, what is't?
Prithee, come hither, sirrah.
Aside.
Heart, I would give but too much money to be nibbling with that wench. Life, she has the spirit of 4 great parishes, and a voice that will drown all the city. Methinks a brave captain might get all his soldiers upon her, and ne'er be beholding to a company of mile-end milksops, if he could come on and come off quick enough. Such a Moll were a marrow-bone before an Italian. He would cry Bonaroba till his ribs were nothing but bone. I'll lay hard siege to her. Money is that aqua fortis that eats into many a maidenhead. Where the walls are flesh and blood, I'll ever pierce through with a golden auger.
Now thy judgment. Moll, is it not good?
Yes, faith, 'tis very good tobacco. How do you sell an ounce? Farewell. God buy you, Mistress Gallipot.
Why, Moll, Moll.
I cannot stay now, i' faith. I am going to buy a shag ruff. The shop will be shut in presently.
'Tis the maddest, fantasticalest girl. I never knew so much flesh and so much nimbleness put together.
Aside.
She slips from one company to another like a fat eel between a Dutchman's fingers. I'll watch my time for her.
Some will not stick to say she's a man, and some both man and woman.
That were excellent. She must first cuckold the husband, and then make him do as much for the wife.
At the feather shop.
Save you. How does Mistress Tiltyard?
Moll.
Jack Dapper.
How dost, Moll?
I'll tell thee by and by. I go but to the next shop.
Thou shalt find me here this hour, about a feather.
Nay, and a feather hold you in play a whole hour, a goose will last you all the days of your life.
At the sempster's shop.
Let me see a good shag ruff.
Mistress Mary, that shot thou, i' faith, and the best in the shop.
How now? Greetings? Love terms with a pox between you? Have I found out one of your haunts? I send you for Hollands, and you're i' the low countries with a mischief. I am served with good ware of the shift, that makes it lie dead so long upon my hands. I were as good shut up shop, for when I open it I take nothing.
Nay, an you fall a ringing once, the devil cannot stop you. I'll out of the belfry as fast as I can, Moll.
Retires.
Get you from my shop.
I come to buy.
I sell ye nothing. I warn ye me house and shop.
You, goody open work. You that prick out a poor living and sews many a bawdy skin coat together. Thou private Pandress between shirt and smock. I wish thee for a minute but a man. Thou shouldst never use more shapes. But as thou art, I pity my revenge. Now my spleen's up, I would not mock it willingly.
Enter a fellow, with a long rapier by his side.
Ha! Be thankful. Now I forgive thee.
Marry, hang thee. I never asked forgiveness in my life.
You, Goodman Swine's face.
What? Will you murder me?
You remember, slave, how you abused me t'other night in a tavern?
Not I. By this light.
No, but by candlelight you did. You have tricks to save your oaths. Reservations, have you? And I have reserved somewhat for you.
Strikes him.
As you like that, call for more. You know the sign again.
Pox on't. Had I brought any company along with me to have borne witness on't, 'twould ne'er have grieved me. But to be struck and nobody by, 'tis my ill fortune still. Why, tread upon a worm, they say 'twill turn tail, but indeed a gentleman should have more manners.
And exit.
Gallantly performed, in faith, Moll, and manfully. I love thee for ever for it. Base rogue! Had he offered but the least counterbuff, by his hand, I was prepared for him.
You prepared for him? Why should you be prepared for him? Was he any more than a man?
No, nor so much by a yard and a handful London measure.
Why do you speak this, then? Do you think I cannot ride a stone horse unless one lead him by the snaffle?
Yes, and sit him bravely. I know thou canst, Moll. 'Twas but an honest mistake through love, and I'll make amends for it any way. Prithee, sweet plump Moll, when shall thou and I go out a town together?
Whither? To Tyburn, prithee?
Mass? That's out a town indeed. Thou hangest so many jests upon thy friend still. I mean honestly to Brainford Staines or where?
What to do there?
Nothing but be merry and lie together. I'll hire a coach with 4 horses.
Ah, I thought 'twould be a beastly journey. You may leave out one well. 3 horses will serve if I play the jade myself.
Nay, push. Thou art such another kicking wench. Prithee be kind, and let's meet.
'Tis hard, but we shall meet, sir.
Nay, but appoint the place then. There's 10 angels in fair gold, Moll. You see I do not trifle with you. Do but say thou wilt meet me, and I'll have a coach ready for thee.
Why, here's my hand. I'll meet you, sir.
Aside.
Oh, good gold! The place, sweet Moll?
It shall be your appointment.
Somewhat near Holborn, Moll.
In Gray's Inn Fields, then?
A match?
I'll meet you there.
The hour?
3.
That will be time enough to sup at Brainford.
I am of such a nature, sir, I cannot endure the house when she scolds. She's a tongue will be heard further in a still morning than St. Antling's bell. She rails upon me for foreign wenching, that I, being a freeman, must needs keep a whore in the suburbs, and seek to impoverish the liberties. When we fall out, I trouble you still to make all whole with my wife.
No trouble at all. 'Tis a pleasure to me to join things together.
Aside.
Go thy ways. I do this but to try thy honesty, goshawk.
At the feather shop.
How likest thou this, Moll?
Oh, singularly. You're fitted now for a bunch.
Aside.
He looks for all the world with those spangled feathers like a nobleman's bedpost. The purity of your wench would I fain try. She seems like Kent unconquered, and I believe as many wiles are in her. Oh, the gallants of these times are shallow lechers. They put not their courtship home enough to a wench. 'Tis impossible to know what woman is thoroughly honest, because she's never thoroughly tried. I am of that certain belief there are more queens in this town of their own making than of any man's provoking. Where lies the slackness, then? Many a poor soul would down, and there's nobody will push 'em. Women are courted, but ne'er soundly tried, as many walk in spurs that never ride.
At the sempster shop.
Oh, abominable!
Nay, more, I tell you in private, he keeps a whore in the suburbs.
Oh, spiteful dealing! I came to him a gentlewoman born. I'll show you my own arms, when you please, sir.
Aside.
I'd rather see your legs and begin that way.
'Tis well known he took me from a lady's service, where I was well beloved of the steward. I had my Latin tongue and a spice of the French before I came to him, and now doth he keep a suburban whore under my nostrils.
There's ways enough to cry quit with him. Hark in thine ear.
Whispers her.
There's a friend worth a million.
Aside.
I'll try one spear against your chastity, Mistress Tiltyard, though it prove too short by the burr.
Enter trap door.
Mass, here she is. I'm bound already to serve her, though it be but a sluttish trick. Bless my hopeful young mistress with long life and great limbs. Send her the upper hand of all bailiffs and their hungry adherents.
How now? What art thou?
A poor ebbing gentleman that would gladly wait for the young flood of your service.
My service? What should move you to offer your service to me, sir?
The love I bear to your heroic spirit and masculine womanhood.
So, sir, put case, we should retain you to us. What parts are there in you for a gentlewoman's service?
Of two kinds, right worshipful. Movable and immovable. Movable to run of errands, and immovable to stand whenever you have occasion to use me.
What strength have you?
Strength, Mistress Mole? I've gone up into a steeple and stayed the great bell as it's been ringing. Stopped a windmill going.
And never struck down yourself?
Stood as upright as I do at this present. Hurrah!
Maul trips up his heels.
Come, I pardon you for this. It shall be no disgrace to you. I have struck up the heels of the High German size ere now. What, not stand?
I am of that nature where I love, I'll be at my mistress' foot to do her service.
Why, well said. But say your mistress should receive injury, have you the spirit of fighting in you? Durst you second her?
Life, I have kept a bridge myself, and drove 7 at a time before me.
I?
Aside.
But they were all Lincolnshire bullocks, by my troth.
Well, meet me in Gray's Inn Fields between 3 and 4 this afternoon, and upon better consideration will retain you.
I humbly thank you, good mistress Ship.
Aside and exit.
I'll crack your neck for this kindness.
Maul meets Laxton.
Remember, 3.
Nay, if I fail you, hang me.
Good wench, in faith.
Meeting open work.
Who's this?
'Tis I, Moll.
Prithee, tend thy shop, and prevent bastards.
Oh, we'll have a pint of the same wine, i'faith, Moll.
Exit with Maul. A bell rings.
Hark, the bell rings. Come, gentlemen. Jack Dapper, where shall's all munch?
I'm for Parker's Ordinary.
He's a good guest to 'em. He deserves his board. He draws all the gentlemen in a term time thither. We'll be your followers, Jack. Lead the way. Look you, by my faith, the fool has feathered his nest well.
Excellent, Jack Dapper, Laxton, Gossock, and Greenwit. Enter Gallipot, Tiltyard, and servants, with water spaniels and a duck.
Come, shut up your shops. Where's Master Openwork?
Nay, ask not me, Master Tiltyard.
Where's his water dog?
Come, wenches, come, we're going all to Hogston.
To Hogston, husband?
Aye, to Hogston, Pigsney.
I'm not ready, husband.
Faith, that's well. Psst.
Spits in the dog's mouth.
Come, Mistress Upwoodwork, you are so long.
I have no joy in my life, Master Gallipot.
Push, let your boy lead his water spaniel along, and we'll show you the bravest sport at Parlous Pond. Hey, Trug, hey, Trug, hey, Trug. He's the best duck in England, except my wife. Hey, hey, fetch, fetch, fetch. Come, let's away. Of all the year, this is the sportfulest day.
Exit. Scene 2. A street. Enter Sebastian Wengrave.
If a man have a free will, where should the use more perfect shine than in his will to love? All creatures have their liberty in that.
Enter behind Sir Alexander Wengrave, listening.
Though else kept under servile yoke and fear, the very bondslave has his freedom there. Amongst a world of creatures voiced and silent, must my desires wear fetters? Yea, are you so near? Then I must break with my heart's truth, meet grief at a back way, why, suppose the two-leaved tongues of slander or of truth pronounce more loathsome. If before my love she appear fair, what injury have I? I have the thing I like, in all things else. Mine own eyes guides me, and I find 'em prosper. Life, what should ail it now? I know that man ne'er truly loves if his gainsay't it lies, that winks and marries with his father's eyes. I'll keep mine own wide open.
Enter Maul, and a porter with a viol on his back. Aside.
Here's brave wilfulness, a made match. Here she comes. They met her purpose.
Must I carry this great fiddle to your chamber, Mistress Mary?
Fiddle, goodman Hog-rubber? Some of these porters bear so much for others, they have no time to carry wit for themselves.
To your own chamber, Mistress Mary.
Who will hear an ass speak? Whither else, goodman pageant-bearer? They're people of the worst memories.
Exit porter.
Why, 'twere too great a burthen, love, to have them carry things in their minds and on their backs together.
Pardon me, sir, I thought you not so near.
Aside.
So.
I would be nearer to thee, and in that fashion that makes the best part of all creatures honest. No, otherwise I wish it.
Sir, I am so poor to requite you. You must look for nothing but thanks of me. I have no humour to marry. I love to lie a both sides of the bed myself, and again a the other side. A wife, you know, ought to be obedient, but I fear me I am too headstrong to obey. Therefore I'll ne'er go about it. I love you so well, sir, for your good will I'd be loath you should repent your bargain after, and therefore will never come together at first. I have the head now of myself, and am man enough for a woman. Marriage is but a chopping and a changing, where a maiden loses one head and has a worse i' the place.
Aside.
The most comfortablest answer from a roaring girl that ever mine eyes drunk in.
This were enough, now to affright a fool for ever from thee, when 'tis the music that I love thee for.
Aside.
There's a boy spoils all again.
Believe it, sir, I am not of that disdainful temper, but I could love you faithfully.
Aside.
A pox on you for that word. I like you not, now. You're a cunning roarer, I see that already.
But sleep upon this once more, sir. You may chance shift a mind to-morrow. Be not too hasty to wrong yourself. Never while you live, sir, take a wife running. Many have run out at heels that have done't. You see, sir, I speak against myself, and if every woman would deal with their suitor so honestly, poor younger brothers would not be so often gulled with old cozening widows, that turn o'er all their wealth in trust to some kinsman, and make the poor gentleman work hard for a pension. Fare you well, sir.
Nay, pray thee, one word more.
Aside.
How do I wrong this girl? She puts him off still.
Think upon this in cold blood, sir. You make as much haste as if you were a-going upon a sturgeon voyage. Take deliberation, sir. Never choose a wife as if you were going to Virginia.
And so we parted, my too cursed fate.
Aside.
She is but cunning, gives him longer time in't.
Enter Tailor.
Mistress Mole, Mistress Mole, so ho, so ho.
There, boy, there, boy. What, dost thou go a-hawking after me with a red clout on thy finger?
I forgot to take measure on you for your new breeches.
Aside.
Hayda, breeches! What, will he marry a monster with 2 trinkets? What age is this? If the wife go in breeches, the man must wear long coats like a fool.
What fiddling's here? Would not the old pattern have served your turn?
You change the fashion. You say you'll have the great Dutch slop, Mistress Mary?
Why, sir, I say so still.
Your breeches, then, will take up a yard more.
Well, pray, look it be put in, then.
It shall stand round and full, I warrant you.
Pray make 'em easy enough.
I know my fault now. T'other was somewhat stiff between the legs. I'll make these open enough, I warrant you.
Aside.
Here's good gear towards. I have brought up my son to marry a Dutch slop and a French doublet. A codpiece daughter.
So, I have gone as far as I can go.
Why then, farewell.
If you go presently to your chamber, Mistress Mary, pray send me the measure of your thigh by some honest body.
Well, sir, I'll send it by a porter presently.
Exit.
So you had need. It is a lusty one. Both of them would make any porter's backache in England.
Exit.
I have examined the best part of man, reason and judgment, and in love they tell me, they leave me uncontrolled. He that is swayed by an unfeeling blood past heat of love. His springtime must needs err, his watch ne'er goes right, that sets his dial by a rusty clock.
Coming forward.
So, and which is that rusty clock, sir? You?
The clock at Ludgate, sir, it ne'er goes true.
But thou goest falser, not thy father's cares can keep thee right. When that insensible work obeys the workman's art, lets off the hour, and stops again when time is satisfied. But thou runn'st on, and judgment, thy main wheel, beats by old stops as if the work would break, begun with long pains for a minute's ruin. Much like a suffering man brought up with care, at last bequeathed to shame and a short prayer.
I taste you bitter than I can deserve, sir.
What has bewitched thee, son? What devil or drug hath wrought upon the weakness of thy blood, and betrayed all her hopes to ruinous folly? Oh, wake from drowsy and enchanted shame, wherein thy soul sits, with a golden dream flattened and poisoned. I am old, my son. Oh, let me prevail quickly, for I have weightier business of mine own than to chide thee. I must not marry grave as a drunkard to his bed, whereon he lies only to sleep and never cares to rise. Let me dispatch in time. Come no more near her.
Not honestly? Not in the way of marriage?
What sayest thou? Marriage? In what place? The sessions house? And who shall give the bride, prithee? An indictment?
Sir, now you take part with the world to wrong her.
Why, wouldst thou in marry to be pointed at? Alas, the number's great. Do not overburden it. Why, as good marry a beacon on a hill, which all the country fix their eyes upon, as her thy folly dotes on. If thou longest to have the story of thy infamous fortune serve for discourse in ordinaries and taverns, thou'rt in the way. Or to confound thy name, keep on, thou canst not miss it. Or to strike thy wretched father to untimely coldness, keep the left hand still, it will bring thee to it. Yet if no tears are wrung from thy father's eyes, nor sighs that fly in sparkles from his sorrows, had power to alter what is wilful in thee, methinks her very name should fright thee from her, and never trouble me.
Why is the name of Moll so fatal, sir?
Marry one, sir, where suspect is entered. For seek all London from one end to t'other, more whores of that name than of any 10 other.
What is that to her? Let those blush for themselves. Can any guilt in others condemn her? I vowed to love her. Let all storms oppose me that ever beat against the breast of man. Nothing but death's black tempest shall divide us.
Oh, folly that can dote on naught but shame!
Put case a wanton itch runs through one name more than another, it is that name the worse where honesty sits possessed in't. It should rather appear more excellent and deserve more praise, when through foul mists of brightness it can raise. Why, there are of the devil's honest gentlemen and well descended keep an open house, and some, all the good mans that are arrant knaves, he hates unworthily that by rote contemns, for the name neither saves nor yet condemns. And for her honesty I have made such proof on't in several forms, so nearly watched her ways, I will maintain that strict against an army, excepting you, my father. Here's her worst. She's a bold spirit that mingles with mankind, but nothing else comes near it, and oftentimes through her apparel somewhat shames her birth, but she is loose in nothing but in mirth. Would all moles were no worse.
Aside.
This way I toil in vain, and give but aim to infamy and ruin. He will fall. My blessing cannot stay him. All my joys stand at the brink of a devouring flood, and will be wilfully swallowed, wilfully. But why so vain let all these tears be lost? I'll pursue her to shame, and so all's crossed.
And exit.
He is gone with some strange purpose, whose effect will hurt me little if he shoot so wide. To think I love so blindly, I but feed his heart to this match to draw it on another, wherein my joy sits with a full wish crowned, only his mood accepted, which must change by opposite policies, courses indirect. Plainly dealing in this world takes no effect. This mad girl I'll acquaint with my intent, get her assistance, make my fortunes known. Twixt lovers' hearts she's a fit instrument, and has the art to help them in their own. By her advice, for in that craft she is wise, my love and I may meet in spite of all spies.
Exit. End of Act 2. Act 3 of The Roaring Girl by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act the 3rd. Scene 1. Gray's Inn Fields. Enter Laxton and Coachman.
Coachman!
Here, sir.
There's a tester more. Prithee drive thy coach to the hither end of Marybone Park, a fit place for Moll to get in.
Marybone Park, sir?
Aye, it's on our way, thou knowest.
It shall be done, sir.
Coachman!
Anon, sir?
Are we fitted with good Frampold jades?
The best in Smithfield, I warrant you, sir.
May we safely take the upper hand of any coached velvet cap, or tough taffety jacket? For they keep a vild swaggering in coaches nowadays. The highways are stooped with them.
My life for yours, and baffle 'em too, sir. Why, they are the same jades, believe it, sir, that have drawn all your famous whores to wear.
Nay, then, they know their business. They need no more instructions.
They're so used to such journeys, sir, I never used to whip 'em, for if they catch but the scent of a wench once, they run like devils.
Exit Coachman with his whip.
Fine Cerberus! That rogue will have the start of 1,000 ones. For whilst others trot afoot, he'll ride prancing to hell upon a coach-horse. Stay, 'tis now about the hour of her appointment, but yet I see her not.
The clock strikes 3.
Hark, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 3 by the clock at Savoy! This is the hour, and Gray's Inn Fields the place. She swore she'd meet me. Ah, yonder's 2 inns a court men with 1 wench, but that's not she. They walk toward Islington out of my way. I see none yet dressed like her, I must look for a shag ruff, a frieze jerkin, a short sword, and safeguard, or I get none. Why, Moll, prithee make haste, or the coachman will curse us anon.
Enter Moll, dressed as a man.
Oh, here's my gentleman. If they would keep their days as well with their mercers as their hours with their harlots, no bankrout would give £70 for a sergeant's place. For would you know a catchpole rightly derived, the corruption of a citizen is the generation of a sergeant. How his eye hawks for venery! Come, are you ready, sir?
Ready for what, sir?
Do you ask that now, sir? Why was this meeting pointed?
I thought you mistook me, sir. You seem to be some young barrister. I have no suit in law, all my land sold. I praise heaven for it. It has rid me of much trouble.
Then I must wake you, sir. Where stands the coach?
Who's this? Moll? Honest Moll?
So young and purblind? You're an old wanton in your eyes, I see that.
Thou'rt admirably suited for the 3 Pigeons at Brainford. I'll swear I know thee not.
I'll swear you did not, but you shall know me now.
No, not here. We shall be spied, in faith. The coach is better. Come.
Stay.
Puts off her cloak.
What, wilt thou untruss a point, Moll?
Draws her sword.
Yes, here's the point that I untruss. 'Thas but one tag. 'Twill serve, though, to tie up a rogue's tongue.
How?
There's the gold with which you hired your hackney. Here's her pace. She racks hard, and perhaps your bones will feel it. 10 angels of mine own I've put to thine. Win 'em and wear 'em.
Hold, Moll, Mistress Mary!
Draw, or I'll serve an execution on thee shall lay thee up till doomsday.
Draw upon a woman? Why, what dost thou mean, Moll?
To teach thy base thoughts manners. Thou'rt one of those that thinks each woman thy fond flexible whore. If she but cast a liberal eye upon thee, turn back her head, she's thine. Or amongst company, by chance drink first to thee, then she's quite gone, there's no means to help her. Nay, for a need, wilt swear unto thy credulous fellow lechers that thou'rt more in favour with a lady at first sight than her monkey all her lifetime. How many of our sex, by such as thou, have their good thoughts paid with a blasted name, that never deserved loosely, or did trip in path of whoredom beyond cup and lip? But for the stain of conscience and of soul, better had women fall into the hands of an act silent than a bragging nothing. There's no mercy in't. What durst move you, sir, to think me whorish? A name which I'd tear out from the High German's throat, if it lay leisure there to dispatch privy slanders against me. In thee I defy all men, their worst hates and their best flatteries, all their golden witchcrafts with which they entangle the poor spirits of fools, distressed needlewomen, and trade-fallen wives, fish that must needs bite, or themselves be bitten. Such hungry things as these may soon be took with a worm fastened on a golden hook. Those are the lecher's food, his prey. He watches for quarrelling wedlocks, and poor shifting sisters. 'Tis the best fish he takes. But why, good fisherman, am I thought meat for you, that never yet had angling rod cast towards me? 'Cause you'll say I'm given to sport, I'm often merry, jest. Had mirth no kindred in the world but lust? Oh, shame take all her friends then! But, however thou and the baser world censure my life, I'll send 'em word by thee, and write so much upon thy breast, 'cause thou shalt bear it in mind. Tell them 'twere base to yield where I have conquered. I scorn to prostitute myself to a man. I that can prostitute a man to me. And so I greet thee.
Hear me.
Would the spirits of all my slanderers were clasped in thine, that I might vex an army at one time.
They fight.
I do repent. Hold.
You'll die the better Christian then.
I do confess I have wronged thee, Moll.
Confession is but poor amends for wrong, unless a rope would follow.
I ask thee pardon.
I'm your hired horse, sir.
I yield both purse and body.
Both are mine, and now at my disposing.
Spare my life.
I scorn to strike thee basely.
Spoke like a noble girl in faith.
Aside.
Heart, I think I fight with a familiar, or a ghost of a fencer. She has wounded me gallantly. Call you this a lecherous voyage? Here's blood would have served me the 7 years, and broken heads and cut fingers. And it now runs all out together. Pox a thee! 3 pigeons! I would the coach were here to carry me to the surgeons.
And exit.
If I could meet my enemies one by one thus, I might make pretty shift with 'em in time, and make 'em know that she has wit and spirit may scorn to live beholding to her body for meat, or for apparel like your common dame, that makes shame get her clothes to cover shame. Base is that mind that kneels unto her body, as if a husband stood in awe on's wife. My spirit shall be mistress of this house as long as I have time in't.
Enter trapdoor.
Oh, here comes my man that would be. 'Tis his hour. Faith, a good well-set fellow, if his spirit be answerable to his umbles. He walks stiff, but whether he will stand to it stiffly, there's the point. Has a good calf for it, and he shall have many a woman choose him she means to make her head by his calf. I do not know their tricks in't. Faith, he seems a man without. I'll try what he is within.
She told me, grazing fields 'twixt 3 and 4. I'll fit her mistress ship with a piece of service. I'm hired to rid the town of one mad girl.
Moll jostles him.
Oh, what a pox ails you, sir?
He begins like a gentleman.
What? Is the field so narrow, or your eyesight... Oh, life, he comes back again.
Was this spoke to me, sir?
I cannot tell, sir.
Go. You're a coxcomb.
Coxcomb?
You're a slave.
I hope there's law for you, sir.
Yea, do you see, sir?
Turns his hat.
Hut! This is no good dealing. Pray, let me know what house you're of.
One of the Temple, sir.
Phillips him.
Mass, so methinks.
And yet sometime I lie about Chick Lane.
I like you the worse because you shift your lodging so often. I'll not meddle with you for that trick, sir.
A good shift, but it shall not serve your turn.
You'll give me leave to pass about my business, sir.
Your business? I'll make you wait on me before I had done, and glad to serve me too.
How, sir? Serve you? Not if there were no more men in England.
But if there were no more women in England, I hope you'd wait upon your mistress then.
Mistress?
Oh, you're a tried spirit at a push, sir.
What would your worship have me do?
You, a fighter?
No, I praise heaven, I had better grace and more manners.
As how, I pray, sir?
Life, 't'd been a beastly part of me to have drawn my weapons upon my mistress. All the world would have cried shame of me for that.
Why, but you knew me not.
Do not say so, mistress. I knew you by your wide straddle, as if I'd been in your belly.
Well, we shall try you further. In the meantime, we give you entertainment.
Thank you, good mistress-ship.
How many suits have you?
No more suits than blacks, mistress.
Well, if you deserve, I cast off this next week, and you may creep into it.
Thank you, good worship.
Come, follow me to St. Thomas Apostle's. I'll put a livery cloak upon your back the first thing I do.
I'll follow, my dear mistress.
Excellent. Scene 2. Gallipot shop. Enter Mistress Gallipot, as from supper. Gallipot following her.
What, Prue? Nay, sweet Prudence.
What a pruing keep you! I think the baby would have a teat, it kies so. Pray be not so fond of me. Leave your city humours. I'm vexed at you to see how like a calf you come bleating after me.
Nay, honey Prue, how does your rising up before all the table show, and flinging from my friends so uncivilly? Fie, Prue, fie. Come.
Then up and ride, i' faith.
Up and ride? Nay, my pretty Prue, that's far from my thought, duck. Why, mouse, thy mind is nibbling at something. What is it? What lies upon thy stomach?
Such an arse as you. Hoida, you're best turn midwife or physician. You're apothecary already, but I'm none of your drugs.
Thou art a sweet drug, sweetest Prue, and the more thou art pounded, the more precious.
Must you be prying into a woman's secrets, say ye?
Woman's secrets?
What? I cannot have a qualm come upon me but your teeth waters till your nose hang over it.
It is my love, dear wife.
Your love? Your love is all words. Give me deeds. I cannot abide a man that's too fond over me, so cookish. Thou dost not know how to handle a woman in her kind.
No, Prue? Why, I hope I have handled.
Handle a fool's head of your own. Fie, fie.
Ha ha! 'Tis such a wasp. It does me good now to have her sting me, little rogue.
Now fie, how you vex me. I cannot abide these apron husbands, such cot queens. You overdo your things. They become you scurvily.
Aside.
Upon my life she breeds. Heaven knows how I have strained myself to please her night and day. I wonder why we citizens should get children so fretful and untoward in the breeding, their fathers being for the most part as gentle as milch kine. Shall I leave thee, my Prue?
Fie, fie, fie.
Thou shalt not be vexed no more, pretty kind rogue. Take no cold, sweet Prue.
Exit.
As your wit has done. Now, Master Laxton, show your head. What news from you? Would any husband suspect that a woman crying, "Buy any scurvy grass," should bring love letters amongst her herbs to his wife? Pretty trick, fine conveyance. Had jealousy 1,000 eyes, a silly woman with scurvy grass blinds them all. Laxton with bays, crown I thy wit for this, it deserves praise. This makes me affect thee more, this proves thee wise. Lack, what poor shift is love forced to devise? To the point.
Reads letter.
O sweet creature, a sweet beginning. Pardon my long absence, for thou shalt shortly be possessed with my presence. Though Demophon was false to Phyllis, I will be to thee as Pandarus was to Cressida. Though Aeneas made an ass of Dido, I will die to thee ere I do so. O sweet creature, make much of me, for no man beneath the silver moon shall make more of a woman than I do of thee. Furnish me therefore with 30 pounds. You must do it of necessity for me. I languish till I see some comfort come from thee, protesting not to die in thy debt, but rather to live so, as hitherto I have and will. Thy true Laxton ever. Alas, poor gentleman! Troth I pity him. How shall I raise this money? 30 pound? 'Tis 30 sure, a 3 before an O. I know his threes too well. My child bed linen? Shall I pawn that for him? Then if my mark be known, I am undone. It may be thought my husband's bankrupt. Which way shall I turn? Laxton, what with my own fears and thy wants, I'm as a needle twixt two adamants.
Re-enter Gallipot hastily.
Nay, nay, wife, the women are all up.
Aside.
Ah, how? Reading their letters? I smell a goose, a couple of capons, and a gammon of bacon from her mother out of the country, I hold my life. Steal, steal.
Oh, beshrew your heart.
What letter's that? I'll see it.
Mistress Gallipot tears the letter.
Oh, wouldst thou had no eyes to see the downfall of me and thyself, I'm forever I'm undone.
What ails my Prue? What papers that thou tear'st?
Would I could tear my very heart in pieces, for my soul lies on the rack of shame that tortures me beyond a woman's suffering.
What means this?
Had you no other vengeance to throw down, but even in height of all my joys?
Dear woman!
When the full sea of pleasure and content seemed to flow over me.
As thou desirest to keep me out of Bedlam, tell what troubles thee. Is not thy child at nurse fallen sick or dead?
Oh, no.
Heavens bless me! Are my barns and houses yonder at Hockley Hole consumed with fire? I can build more, sweet Prue.
'Tis worse, 'tis worse.
My factor broke, or is the Jonas sunk?
Would all we had were swallowed in the waves, rather than both should be the scorn of slaves.
I'm at my wit's end.
Oh, my dear husband, where once I thought myself a fixed star placed only in the heaven of thine arms, I fear now I shall prove a wanderer. Oh, Laxton, Laxton, is it then my fate to be by thee o'erthrown?
Defend me, wisdom, from falling into frenzy. On my knees, sweet Prue, speak. What's that Laxton who so heavy lies on my bosom?
I shall sure run mad.
I shall run mad for company, then. Speak to me. I'm Gallipot, thy husband. Prue, why, Prue, art sick in conscience for some villainous deed thou wert about to act? Didst mean to rob me? Tush, I forgive thee. Hast thou on my bed thrust my soft pillow under another's head? I'll wink at all faults, Prue. Lass, that's no more than what some neighbours near thee have done before. Sweet honey, Prue, what's that Laxton?
Oh!
Out with him!
Oh, he's born to be my undoer. This hand which thou call'st thine to him was given. To him was I made sure i' the sight of heaven.
I never heard this thunder.
Yes, yes, before I was to thee contracted, to him I swore. Since last I saw him 12 months 3 times told, the moon hath drawn through her light silver bow. For all the seas he went, and it was said, but rumour lies, that he in France was dead. But he's alive, oh, he's alive. He sent that letter to me, which in rage I rent, swearing with oaths most damnably to have me, or tear me from this bosom. Oh, heaven save me!
My heart will break, shamed and undone for ever.
So black a day, poor wretch, went o'er thee never.
If thou shouldst wrestle with him at the law, thou'rt sure to fall. No odd sleight, no prevention. I'll tell him thou'rt with child. Or give out one of my men was ta'en a bed with thee. Before I lose thee, my dear Prue, I'll drive it to that push.
Worse and worse still. You embrace a mischief to prevent an ill.
I'll buy thee of him, stop his mouth with gold. Think'st thou'lt will do?
Oh me, heavens grant it would. Yet now my senses are set more in tune, he writ, as I remember in his letter, that he in riding up and down had spent ere he could find me 30 pounds. Send that, stand not on 30 with him.
40, Prue, say thou the word, 'tis done. We venture lives for wealth, but must do more to keep our wives. 30 or 40, Prue?
30, good sweet. Of an ill bargain let's save what we can. I'll pay it him with my tears. He was a man when first I knew him of a meek spirit. All goodness is not yet dried up, I hope.
He shall have 30 pound. Let that stop all. Love's sweets taste best when we have drunk down gall.
Enter Tiltyard, Mistress Tiltyard, Cossack, and Mistress Openwork.
Godso, our friends, come, come, smooth your cheek. After a storm, the face of heaven looks sleek.
Did I not tell you these turtles were together?
How dost thou, sirrah? Why, Sister Gallipot!
Lord, how she changed!
Is your wife ill, sir?
Yes, indeed, law, sir, very ill, very ill. Never worse.
How her head burns! Feel how her pulses work.
Sister, lie down a little. That always does me good.
In good sadness, I find best ease in that too. Has she laid some hot thing to her stomach?
No, but I will lay something anon.
Come, come, fools, you trouble her. Shall's go, Master Goshawk?
Yes, sweet Master Tiltyard.
Sir Rosamond, I hold my life Gallipot hath vexed his wife.
She has a horrible high colour indeed.
We shall have your face painted with the same red soon at night when your husband comes from his rubbers in a false alley. Thou wilt not believe that his bowels is run with a wrong bias.
It cannot sink into me that he feeds upon stale mutton abroad, having better and fresher at home.
What if I bring thee where thou shalt see him stand at rack and manger?
I'll saddle him in his kind and spur him till I kick again.
Shall thou and I ride our journey then?
Here's my hand.
No more. Come, Master Tiltyard. Shall we leap into the stirrups with our women and amble home?
Yes, yes. Come, wife.
In troth, sister, I hope you will do well for all this.
I hope I shall. Farewell, good sister, sweet Master Goshawk.
Welcome, brother, most kindly welcome, sir.
Thanks, sir, for our good cheer.
Exit all but Gallipot and Mistress Gallipot.
It shall be so, because a crafty knave shall not outreach me nor walk by my door with my wife arm in arm, as 'twere his whore. I'll give him a golden coxcomb, £30. Tush, Prue, what's £30? Sweet duck, look cheerly.
Thou art worthy of my heart, thou buy'st it dearly.
Enter Laxton, muffled. Aside.
Odds light! The tide's against me. A pox of your apothecary's ship! Oh, for some glister to set him going! 'Tis one of Hercules' labours to tread one of these city hens because their cocks are still crowing over them. There's no turning tail here. I must on.
Oh, husband, see, he comes.
Let me deal with him.
Bless you, sir.
Be you blessed too, sir, if you come in peace.
Have you any good pudding tobacco, sir?
Oh, pick no quarrels, gentle sir. My husband is not a man of weapon as you are. He knows all. I have opened all before him concerning you.
Aside.
Zounds! Has she shown my letters?
Suppose my case were yours. What would you do at such a pinch? Such batteries, such assaults of father, mother, kindred, to dissolve the knot you tied and to be bound to him? How could you shift this storm off?
If I know, hang me.
Besides, a story of your death was read each minute to me.
Aside.
What a pox means this riddling?
Be wise, sir. Let not you and I be tossed on lawyers' pens. They have sharp nibs, and draw men's very heart-blood from them. What need you, sir, to beat the drum of my wife's infamy, and call your friends together, sir, to prove your pre-contract, when she has confessed it?
Sir, has she confessed it?
She has, faith to me, sir, upon your letter sending.
I have.
Aside.
If I let this iron cool, call me slave. Do you hear, you Dame Prudence? Thinkest thou, vile woman, I'll take these blows and wink?
Kneeling.
Upon my knees.
Out, impudence!
Good sir.
You goatish slaves! No wild fowl to cut up but mine?
Alas, sir, you make her flesh to tremble. Fright her not. She shall do reason, and what's fit.
I'll have thee, wert thou more common than a hospital, and more diseased.
But one word, good sir.
So, sir.
I married her, have lain with her, and got 2 children on her body. Think but on that. Have you so beggarly an appetite, when I upon a dainty dish have fed, to dine upon my scraps, my leavings? Ha, sir? Do I come near you now, sir?
Belady, you touch me.
Would not you scorn to wear my clothes, sir?
Right, sir.
Then pray, sir, wear not her, for she's a garment so fitting for my body I'm loath another should put it on. You will undo both. Your letter, as she said, complained you had spent in quest of her some £30. I'll pay it. Shall that, sir, stop this gap up twixt you two?
Well, if I swallow this wrong, let her thank you. The money being paid, sir, I am gone. Farewell, O women! Happy's he trust none.
Dispatch him hence, sweet husband.
Yes, dear wife, pray, sir, come in. Ere Master Laxton part, thou shalt in wine drink to him.
With all my heart.
Exit Gallipot.
How dost thou like my wit?
Rarely. That wile by which the serpent did the first woman beguile, did ever since all women's bosoms fill. Y'are apple-eaters all, deceivers still.
Excellent. Scene 3. Holborn. Enter Sir Alexander Wengrave, Sir Davy Dapper, and Sir Adam Appleton on one side, and Trap Door on the other.
Out with your tale, Sir Davy, to Sir Adam. A knave is in mine eye deep in my debt.
Nay, if he be a knave, sir, hold him fast.
Sir Davy and Sir Adam talk apart.
Speak softly. What egg is there hatching now?
A duck's egg, sir, a duck that has eaten a frog. I have cracked the shell, and some villainy or other will peep out presently. The duck that sits is the bouncing ramp, that roaring girl my mistress. The drake that must tread is your son, Sebastian.
Be quick,
As the tongue of an oyster wench,
and see thy news be true.
as a barber's every Saturday night. Mad Moll
Ah,
must be let in, without knocking, at your back gate.
so
Your chamber will be made bawdy.
good.
She comes in a shirt of mail.
How? Shirt of mail?
Yes, sir, or a male shirt. That's to say, in man's apparel.
To my son?
Close to your son. Your sun and her moon will be in conjunction, if all almanacs lie not. Her black safeguard is turned into a deep slop, the holes of her upper body to buttonholes, her waistcoat to a doublet, her placket to the ancient seat of a codpiece, and you shall take 'em both with standing collars.
Art sure of this?
As every throng is sure of a pickpocket, as sure as a whore is of the client's all Michaelmas term, and of the pox after the term.
The time of their tilting?
3.
The day?
This.
Away, ply it, watch her.
As the devil doth for the death of a bawd. I'll watch her. Do you catch her?
She's fast. Here weave thou the nets. Hark!
They're made.
I told them thou didst owe me money. Hold it up, maintain it.
Stiffly, as a Puritan does contention. Pox, I owe thee not the value of a halfpenny halter.
Thou shalt be hanged in it ere thou 'scaped so. Valet, I'll make thee look through a grate.
I'll do it presently through a tavern grate. Drawer! Pish!
Exit.
Has the knave vexed you, sir?
Asked me my money. He swears my son received it. Oh, that boy will never leave heaping sorrows on my heart till he has broke it quite.
Is he still wild?
As is a Russian bear.
But he has left his old haunt with that baggage.
Worse still, and worse. He lays on me his shame, I on him my curse.
My son Jack Dapper then shall run with him, all in one pasture.
Proves your son bad too, sir.
As villainy can make him. Your Sebastian dotes but on one drab, mine on 1,000. A noise of fiddlers, tobacco, wine, and a whore. A mercer that will let him take up more. Dice, and a water spaniel with a duck. Oh, bring him a bed with these? When his purse jingles, roaring boys follow at's tail, fencers and ningles, beasts Adam ne'er gave name to. These horse-leeches sucked my son. He being drawn dry, they all live on smoke.
Tobacco?
Right. I have in my brain a windmill going that shall grind to dust the follies of my son, and make him wise or a stark fool. Pray lend me your advise.
That shall you, good Sir Davy.
Here's the spring I has set to catch this woodcock in. An action in a false name, unknown to him, is entered in the counter to arrest Jack Dapper.
Ha ha he!
Think you the counter cannot break him?
Break him? Yes, and breaks heart too, if he lie there long.
I'll make him sing a counter-tenor sure.
No way to tame him like it. There he shall learn what money is indeed, and how to spend it.
He's bridled there.
Ay, yet knows not how to mend it. Bedlam cures not more madmen than in a year than one of their counters does. Men pay more dear there for their wit than anywhere. A counter! Why, 'tis an university, who not sees? As scholars there, so here men take degrees, and follow the same studies all alike. Scholars learn first logic and rhetoric, so does a prisoner. With fine honeyed speech, at first coming in he doth persuade, beseech, he may be lodged with one that is not itchy. To lie in a clean chamber, in sheets not lousy. But when he has no money, then does he try, by subtle logic and quaint sophistry, to make the keepers trust him.
Say they do.
Then he's a graduate.
Say they trust him not.
Then is he held a freshman and a sot, and never shall commence, but being still barred, be expulsed from the master's side to the twopenny ward, or else i' the whole beg place.
When then, I pray, proceeds a prisoner?
When, money being the theme, he can dispute with his hard creditors' hearts, and get out clear, he's then a master of arts. Sir Davy, send your son to Wood Street College. A gentleman can nowhere get more knowledge.
There, gallants study hard.
True, to get money.
Lies but the heels, if faith, thanks, thanks. I ha' sent for a couple of bears shall paw him.
Enter Curtilax and Hanger.
Who comes yonder?
They look like puttocks. These should be they.
I know 'em. They are officers. Sir, we'll leave you.
My good knights. Leave me. You see I'm haunted now with spirits.
Fare you well, sir.
Exeunt. Aside.
This old muzzle chops should be he by the fellow's description. Save you, sir.
Come hither, you mad varlets. Did not my man tell you I watched here for you?
One in a blue coat, sir, told us that in this place an old gentleman would watch for us, a thing contrary to our oath, for we are to watch for every wicked member in a city.
You'll watch then for 10,000. What's thy name, Honesty?
Sergeant Curtilax, I, sir.
An excellent name for a sergeant, Curtilax. Sergeants indeed are weapons of the law when prodigal ruffians far in debt are grown. Should not you cut them, citizens were o'erthrown. Thou dwell'st hereby in Holborn, Curtilax?
That's my circuit, sir. I conjure most in that circle.
And what young toward whelp is this?
Of the same litter. He's yeoman, sir. My name's Hanger.
Yeoman Hanger. One pair of shears sure cut out both your coats. You have two names most dangerous to men's throats. You two are villainous loads on gentlemen's backs. Dear Ware, this Hanger and this Curtilax.
We are as other men are, sir. I cannot see but he who makes a show of honesty and religion, if his claws can fasten to his liking, he draws blood. All that live in the world are but great fish and little fish, and feed upon one another. Some eat up whole men. A sergeant cares but for the shoulder of a man. They call us knaves and curs, but many times he that sets us on worries more lambs one year than we do in 7.
Spoke like a noble Cerberus. Is the action entered?
His name is entered in the book of unbelievers.
What book's that?
The book where all the prisoners' names stand, and not one amongst 40 when he comes in believes to come out in haste.
Be as dogged to him as your office allows you to be.
Oh, sir!
You know the unthrift Jack Dapper?
Ay, ay, sir, that gull, as well as I know my yeoman.
And you know his father too, Sir Davy Dapper.
As damned a usurer as ever was among Jews. If he were sure his father's skin would yield him any money, he would, when he dies, flay it off, and sell it to cover drums for children at Bartholomew Fair.
What toads are these to spit poison on a man to his face? Do you see, my honest rascals? Yonder greyhound is the dog he hunts with. Out of that tavern Jack Dapper will sally. Sa, give the counter, on, set upon him.
We'll charge him upon the back, sir.
Take no bail, put mace enough into his caudle, double your files, traverse your ground.
Brave, sir.
Cry arm, arm, arm.
Thus, sir.
There, boy, away! Look to your prey, my true English wolves, and so I vanish.
Exit.
Some warden of the sergeants begat this old fellow. Upon my life, stand close.
Shall the ambuscado lie in one place?
No, look thou yonder.
They retire. Enter Maul and Trapdoor.
Ralph?
What says my brave captain, male and female?
This Holborn is such a wrangling street.
That's because lawyers walks to and fro in.
Here's such justling, as if everyone we met were drunk and reeled.
Stand, mistress. Do you not smell carrion?
Carrion? No. Yet I spy ravens.
Some poor wind-shaken gallant will anon fall into sore labour, and these men midwives must bring him to bed in the counter. There all those that are great with child with debts lie in.
Stand up.
Like your new maypole.
Whist, whew.
Hump, no.
Peeping. It shall go hard, huntsman, but I'll spoil your game. They look for all the world like two infected maltmen coming muffled up in their cloaks in a frosty morning to London.
A course, captain. A bear comes to the stake.
Enter Jack Dapper and Gull.
It should be so, for the dogs struggle to be let loose. Phew!
Hemp.
Hark, Trapdoor, follow your leader.
Gull.
Master?
Didst ever see such an ass as I am, boy?
No, by my troth, sir. To lose all your money, yet have false dice of your own. Why, 'tis as I saw a great fellow used t'other day. He had a fair sword and buckler, and yet a butcher dry beat him with a cudgel.
Honest servant, fly.
Run! Gull, and draw!
Run, master. Gull follows you.
Exit Dapper and Gull.
I know you well enough. You're but a whore to hang upon any man.
Whores then are like sergeants, so now hang you. Draw, rogue, but strike not. For a broken pate they'll keep their beds and recover 20 marks damages.
You shall pay for this rescue. Run down Shoe Lane and meet him.
Exit Curlax and Hanger.
Shoe! Is this a rescue, gentleman, or no?
Rescue? A pox on 'em. Trapdoor lets away. I'm glad I have done perfect one good work to-day. If any gentleman be in scriveners' bands, send but for Moll. She'll bail him by these hands.
Excellent. End of Act 3. Act 4 of The Roaring Girl by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act the 4th. Scene 1. Our room in Sir Alexander Wengrave's house. Enter Sir Alexander Wengrave.
Unhappy in the follies of a son, led against judgment, sense, obedience, and all the powers of nobleness and wit.
Enter Trapdoor.
O wretched father! Now, Trapdoor, will she come?
In man's apparel, sir. I'm in her heart now, and sharing all her secrets.
Peace, peace, peace. Here, take my German watch hanged up in sight, that I may see her hang in English for it.
I'll warrant you for that now. Next sessions rids her, sir. This watch will bring her in better than 100 constables.
Hangs up the watch.
Good Trapdoor, sayest thou so? Thou cheer'st my heart after a storm of sorrow. My gold chain too. Here, Take 100 marks in yellow links.
That will do well to bring the watch to light, and worth 1,000 of your Edinburgh's lanterns.
Place the defarthur of the court cupboard. Let it lie full in the view of her thief whorish eye.
She cannot miss it, sir. I see it so plain that I could steal it myself.
Places the chain.
Perhaps thou shalt do that, or something as weighty. What she leaves thou shalt come closely in and filch away, and all the weight upon her back I'll lay.
You cannot assure that, sir.
No? What lets it?
Being a stout girl, perhaps you'll desire pressing. Then all the weight must lie upon her belly.
Belly or back, I care not, so I've won.
You're of that mind for that, sir.
Hang up my rough band with the diamond at it. It may be she'll like that best.
Aside.
It's well for her that she must have her choice. He thinks nothing too good for her. If you hold on this mind a little longer, it shall be the first work I do to turn thief myself. 'Twould do a man good to be hanged when he's so well provided for.
Hangs up the rough band.
So, well said. All hangs well. Would she hung so too? The sight would please me more than all their glisterings. Oh, that my mysteries to such straits should run, that I must rob myself to bless my son.
Exeunt. Enter Sebastian Wingrave, Mary Fitzallard, disguised as a page, and Moll in her male dress.
Thou hast done me a kind office, without touch either of sin or shame. Our loves are honest.
I'd scorn to make such shift to bring you together else.
Now have I time and opportunity without all fear to bid thee welcome, love.
Kisses Mary.
Never with more desire and harder venture.
How strange this shows! One man to kiss another?
I kiss such men to choose Moll. Methinks a woman's lips taste well in a doublet.
Many an old madam has the better fortune then, whose breaths grew stale before the fashion came. If that will help 'em, as you think 'twill do, they'll learn in time to pluck on the hose too.
The older they wax, Moll, troth, I speak seriously, as some have a conceit their drink tastes better in an outlandish cup than in our own, so methinks every kiss she gives me now, in this strange form, is worth a pair of two. Here we are safe, and furthest from the eye of all suspicion. This is my father's chamber, upon which floor he never steps till night, where he mistrusts me not, nor I his coming. At mine own chamber he still pries unto me, my freedom is not there at mine own finding. Still checked and curbed, here he shall miss his purpose.
And what's your business, now you have your mind, sir? At your great suit I promised you to come. I pitied her for name's sake. That a Moll should be so crossed in love, when there's so many that owes 9 lays apiece, and not so little. My tailor fitted her. How like you his work?
So well no art can mend it for this purpose, but to thy wit and help we are chief in debt, and must live, still beholding.
Any honest pity I'm willing to bestow upon poor ring-doves.
I'll offer no worse play.
Nay, and you should, sir. I should draw first, and prove the quicker man.
Hold, there shall need no weapon at this meeting. But cause thou shalt not loose thy fury idle, here, take this viol, run upon the guts, and end thy quarrel singing.
Takes down and gives her a viol.
Like a swan above bridge. For look you, here's the bridge, and here am I.
Hold on, sweet Moll.
I've heard her much commended, sir, for one that was ne'er taught.
I'm much beholding to 'em. Well, since you'll needs put us together, sir, I'll play my part as well as I can. It shall ne'er be said I came into a gentleman's chamber and let his instrument hang by the walls.
Why, well said, Moll, i'faith, it had been a shame for that gentleman, then that would have let it hung still, and ne'er offered thee it.
There it should have been still, then, for Moll, for though the world judge impudently of me, I ne'er came into that chamber yet where I took down the instrument myself.
Pish, let them prate abroad. Thou'rt here where thou art known and loved. There be 1,000 close dames that will call the viol an unmannerly instrument for a woman, and therefore talk broadly of thee, when you shall have them sit wider to a worse quality.
Push, I ever fall asleep, and think not of 'em, sir. and thus I dream.
Prithee, let's hear thy dream, Mole.
I dream there is a mistress, and she lays out the money. She goes unto her sisters, she never comes at any.
Re-enter Sir Alexander behind.
She says she went to the Burse for pattens. You shall find her at St. Catherine's, and comes home with ne'er a penny.
That's a free mistress, faith.
Aside.
Ay, 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 like her that sings it, one of thine own choosing.
But shall I dream again? Here comes a wench will brave ye, her courage was so great. She lay with one o' the navy, her husband lying near the fleet, yet oft with him she cavilled. I wonder what she ails, her husband's ship lay gravelled, when hers could hoist up sails. Yet she began, like all my foes, to call whore first, for so do those, a pox of all false tales.
Marry, amen, say I.
Aside.
So say I too.
Hang up the vial now, sir. All this while I was in a dream. One shall lie rudely then. But being awake, I keep my legs together. A watch. What's o'clock here?
Aside.
Now she's trapped.
Between 1 and 2. Nay, then I care not. A watch and a musician are cousin germans in one thing. They must both keep time well, or there's no goodness in 'em. The one deserves to be dashed against a wall, and t'other to have his brains knocked out with a fiddle case. What? A loose chain and a dangling diamond? Here were brave booty for an evening thief now. There's many a younger brother would be glad to look twice in at a window for it, and wriggle in and out like an eel in a stand-bag. Oh, if men's secret youthful faults should judge 'em, 'twould be the generalest execution that ever was seen in England. There would be but few left to sing the ballets. There would be so much work. Most of our brokers would be chosen for hangmen. A good day for them. They might renew their wardrobes of free cost then.
This is the roaring wench must do us good.
No poison, sir, but serves us for some use, which is confirmed in her.
Peace, peace! Foot, I did hear him sure, where'er he be.
Who did you hear?
My father. 'Twas like a sight of his. I must be wary.
Aside.
No, will't not be? Am I alone so wretched that nothing takes? I'll put him to his plunge for it.
Life, here he comes. Sir, I beseech you take it. Your way of teaching does so much content me. I'll make it £4. Here's 40 shillings, sir. I think I name it right. Help me, good Mole, 40 in hand.
Offering money.
Sir, you shall pardon me. I have more of the meanest scholar I can teach. This pays me more than you have offered yet.
At the next quarter, when I receive the means my father lows me, you shall have the t'other 40.
Aside. Then coming forward.
This were well now, wert to a man whose sorrows had blind eyes, but mine behold his follies and untruths with 2 clear glasses. How now?
Sir?
What's he there?
You're come in good time, sir. I have a suit to you. I'd crave your present kindness.
What's he there?
A gentleman, a musician, sir, one of an excellent figuring.
Aside.
Ay, I think so. I wonder how they scaped her.
He has the most delicate stroke, sir.
Aside.
A stroke indeed. I feel it at my heart.
Puts down all your famous musicians.
Aside.
Ay, a whore may put down 100 of 'em.
40 shillings is the agreement, sir, between us. Now, sir, my present means mounts but to half on't.
And he stands upon the whole?
Ay, indeed does he, sir.
And will do still. He'll ne'er be an other tale.
Therefore I'd stop his mouth, sir, and I could.
True. There is no other way, indeed.
Aside.
His folly hardens. Shame must needs succeed. Now, sir, I understand you profess music.
I am a poor servant to that liberal science, sir.
Where is't you teach?
Right against Clifford's Inn.
That's a fit place for it. You've many scholars?
and some of worth whom I may call my masters.
Aside.
Ay, true, a company of whoremasters. You teach to sing too?
Marry do I, sir.
I think you'll find an apt scholar of my son, especially for prick song.
I have much hope of him.
Aside.
I'm sorry for it. I have the less for that. You can play any lesson?
At first sight, sir.
There's a thing called the witch. Can you play that?
I would be sorry any one should mend me in it.
Aside.
Ay, I believe thee. Thou'st so bewitched my son, no care will mend the work that thou hast done. I have bethought myself, since my art fails, I'll make her policy the art to trap her. Here are 4 angels marked with holes in them, fit for his cracked companions. Gold he'll give her, these will I make induction to her ruin, and rid shame from my house, grief from my heart. Here, son, in what you take content and pleasure, want shall not curb you. Pay the gentleman his latter half in gold.
Gives money.
I thank you, sir.
Aside and exit.
Oh, may the operation on't end 3, in her life, shame in him, and grief in me.
Faith, thou shalt have him. 'Tis my father's gift. Never was a man beguiled with better shift.
He that can take me for a male musician, I cannot choose but make him my instrument, and play upon him.
Excellent. Scene 2. Before Gallipot's shop. Enter Mistress Gallipot and Mistress Openwork.
Is then that bird of yours, Master Goshawk, so wild?
A goshawk, a potock, all for prey. He angles for fish, but he loves flesh better.
Is possible his smooth face should have wrinkles in't, and we not see them?
Possible? Why, have not many handsome legs, in silk stockings, villainous splay feet for all their great roses?
Troth, sirrah, thou say'st true.
Didst never see an archer, thou'st walked by Bunhill, look asquint when he drew his bow?
Yes, when his arrows have flown toward Islington, his eyes have shot clean contrary towards Pimlico.
For all the world, so does Master Goshawk double with me.
Oh, fie upon him! If he double once, he's not for me.
Because Goshawk goes in a shag-ruff band, with a face sticking up into which shows like an agate set in a cramp ring. He thinks I'm in love with him.
Lass, I think he takes his mark amiss in thee.
He has, by often baiting into me, made me believe that my husband kept a whore.
Very good.
Swore to me that my husband this very morning went in a boat with that tilt over it to the 3 Pigeons at Brainford, and his punk with him under his tilt.
That were wholesome.
I believed it. Fella swearing at him, cursing of harlots, made me ready to hose up sail, and be there as soon as he.
So.
And for that voyage Goshawk comes hither incontinently. But, sirrah, this water spaniel dies after no duck but me. His hope is having me at Brainford to make me cry quack.
Art sure of it?
Sure of it. My poor innocent Openwork came in as I was poking my ruff. Presently hit I him in the teeth with the 3 Pigeons. He forswore all. I up and opened all, and now stands he in a shop, hard by like a musket on the rest, to hit Goshawk in the eye when he comes to fetch me to the boat.
Such another lame gelding offered to carry me through thick and thin. Laxton, sirrah, but I am rid of him now.
Happy is the woman can be rid of 'em all. Lass, what are you whisking gallants to our husbands? Weigh 'em right, man for man?
Troth, mere shallow things.
Idle, simple things, running heads, and yet let 'em run over us never so fast. We shopkeepers, when all's done, are sure to have 'em in our purse nets at length. And when they are in, Lord, what simple animals they are! Then they hang the head.
Then they droop.
Then they write letters.
Then they cog.
Then they deal underhand with us, and we must ingle with our husbands abed, and we must swear they are our cousins, and able to do us a pleasure at court.
And yet, when we have done our best, all's but put into a riven dish. We are but frumped at and libelled upon.
Oh, if it were the good Lord's will, there were a law made no citizen should trust any of 'em at all.
Enter Gossok.
Hush, sirrah, Goshawk flutters.
How now, are you ready?
Nay, are you ready? A little thing, you see, makes us ready.
Us? Why, must she make one in the voyage?
Oh, by any means. Do I know how my husband will handle me?
Aside.
Foot, how shall I find water to keep these 2 mills going? Well, since you'll need to be clapped under hatches, if I sail not with both till all's split, hang me up at the main-yard and duck me.
Aside.
It's but liquoring them both soundly, and then you shall see their cork heels fly up, like 2 swans when their tails are above water, and their long necks under water, diving to catch gudgeons. Come, come, oars, and steady ready, the tide's with us. On with those false faces, blow winds, and thou shalt take thy husband casting out his net to catch fresh salmon at Brainford.
Aside.
I believe you'll eat of a cod's head of your own dressing before you reach halfway thither.
She and Mistress Openwork then mask themselves.
So, follow close, pin as you go.
Enter Laxton, muffled.
Do you hear?
Yes, I thank my ears.
I must have a bout with your apothecaryship.
At what weapon?
I must speak with you.
No.
No? You shall.
Shall? Away, soused sturgeon, half fish, half flesh.
Faith, Gib, are you spitting? I'll cut your tail, pusscat, for this.
Lass, poor Laxton, I think thy tail's cut already. Your worst.
If I do not...
Exit.
Come, have you done?
Enter Openwork.
How now, sweet Master Goshawk, none more welcome. I have wanted your embracements. When friends meet, the music of the spheres sounds not more sweet than does their conference. Who is this? Rosamond? Wife? How now, sister?
Silence, if you love me.
Why, masked.
Does a mask grieve you, sir?
It does.
Then you're best get you a mummin.
Suffoot, you'll spoil all.
May not we cover our bare faces with masks, as well as you cover your bald heads with hats?
No masks. Why, they're thieves to beauty, that rob eyes of admiration in which true love lies. Why are masks worn? Why good, or why desired, unless by their gay covers wits are fired to read the wildest looks? Many bad faces, because rich gems are treasured up in cases, pass by their privilege current, but as caves damn misers' gold, so masks are beauty's graves. Men ne'er met women with such muffled eyes, but they curse her that first did masks devise, and swear it was some beldam. Come, off with it.
I will not.
Good faces masked are jewels kept by sprites. Hide none but bad ones, for they poison men's sights. Show them as shopkeepers do their broidered stuff, by owl light. Fine wares cannot be open enough. Prithee, sweet Rose, come strike this sail.
Sail?
Huh? Yes, wife, strike sail, for storms are in thine eyes.
They are here, sir, in my brows, if any rise.
Huh? Brows? What says she, friend? Pray tell me why your 2 flags were advanced. The comedy, come, what's the comedy?
Westward ho.
How?
'Tis westward ho, she says. It's market day at Brainford, and your ware not sent up yet.
What market day? What ware?
A pie with 3 pigeon in it. 'Tis drawn and stares. You're cutting up.
As you regard my credit.
Art mad?
Yeah, lecherous goat, baboon.
Baboon? Then toss me in a blanket.
Do I it well?
Rarely.
Belike, sir, she's not well. Best leave her.
No, I'll stand the storm now, how fierce soe'er it blow.
Did I for this lose all my friends? Refuse rich hopes and golden fortunes, to be made a stale to a common whore?
This does amaze me.
Oh God, feed a reversion now?
Rosamond!
Aside.
I sweat would I lay in cold harbour.
Thou hast struck 10,000 daggers through my heart.
Not I, by heaven, sweet wife.
Go, devil, go. That which thou swearest by dumps thee.
Shot, will you undo me?
Why stay you here? The star by which you sail shines yonder above Chelsea. You lose your shore, if this moon light you. Seek out your light whore. Huh? Push, you western pug.
Zounds, now hell roars.
With whom you tilted in a pair of oars, this very morning. Oars? At Brainford, sir.
Rack not my patience, Master Goshawk. Some slave has buzzed this into her, has he not? I run a tilt in Brainford with a woman? 'Tis a lie. What old board tells thee this? 'Sdeath, 'tis a lie.
'Tis one thy face shall justify all that I speak.
Od's soul, do but name that rascal.
No, sir, I will not.
Aside.
Keep thee there, girl, then.
Sister, know you this varlet?
Yes.
Swear true, is there a rogue so low damned? A second Judas, a common hangman, cutting a man's throat? Does it to his face? Bite me behind my back? A cur dog? Swear if you know this hellhound.
In truth, I do.
His name?
Not for the world to have you to stab him.
Aside.
Oh, brave girls, worth gold.
Drawing his sword.
A word, honest, Master Goshawk.
What do you mean, sir?
Keep off, and if the devil can give a name to this new fury, holler it through my ear, or wrap it up in some hid character. I'll ride to Oxford and watch out mine eyes, but I'll hear the brazen head speak. Or else show me but one hair of his head or beard, that I may sample it. If the fiend I meet in mine own house, I'll kill him in the street, or at the church door. There, 'cause he seeks to untie the knot God fastens, he deserves to die.
My husband titles him.
Master Goshawk, pray, sir, swear to me that you know him or know him not. Who makes me at Brainford to take up a petticoat beside my wife's?
By heaven, that man I know not.
Come, come, you lie.
Will you not have all out? By heaven, I know no man beneath the moon should do you wrong, but if I had his name, I'd print it in text letters.
Print thy own, then. Didst not thou swear to me he kept his whore?
And in that sinful Brainford they would commit that which our lips did water at, sir, ha?
That hast woven thy cunning web in mine own house to snare me. Hast not thou sucked nourishment even underneath this roof, and turned it all to poison, spitting it on thy friend's face, my husband, he as 'twere sleeping, only to leave him ugly to mine eyes, that they might glance on thee?
Speak, are these lies?
Mine own shame me confounds.
No more, he's stung. Who'd think that in one body there could dwell deformity and beauty, heaven and hell? Goodness, I see, is but outside. We all set in rings of gold stones that be counterfeit. I thought you none.
Pardon me.
Truth I do. This blemish grows in nature, not in you. For man's creation sticks even moles in scorn on fairest cheeks. Wife, nothing is perfect born.
I thought you had been born perfect.
What's this whole world but a guilt-rotten pill? For at the heart lies the old chore still. I have tell you, Master Goshawk, in your eye I have seen wanton fire, and then to try the soundness of my judgment, I told you I kept a whore, made you believe 'twas true, only to feel how your pulse beat. But find the world can hardly yield a perfect friend. Come, come, a trick of youth, and 'tis forgiven. This rub put by, our love shall run more even.
You'll deal upon men's wives no more.
No, you teach me a trick for that.
Troth do not, they'll oriash thee.
Make my house yours, sir, still.
No.
I say you shall. Seeing thus besieged it holds out, 'twill never fall.
Enter Gallipot, followed by Greenwood disguised as Sumner, and Laxton muffled aloof off.
How now?
With me, sir?
You, sir. I have gone snuffing up and down by your door this hour to watch for you.
What's the matter, husband?
I have caught a cold in my head, sir, by sitting up late in the Rose Tavern, but I hope you understand my speech.
So, sir.
I cite you by the name of Hippocrates Gallipot, and you by the name of Prudence Gallipot, to appear upon Crostino, do you see, Crostino Sancti Donastani, this Easter term in Bow Church.
Where, sir? What says he?
Bow Church, to answer to a libel of pre-contract on the part and behalf of the said Prudence and another. Your best, sir, take a copy of the citation, 'tis but 12 pence.
A citation?
A citation?
You pocky-nosed rascal, what slave fees you to this?
Coming forward.
Slave? I have nothing to do with you, do you hear, sir?
Laxton, is it not? What faggery is this?
Trust me, I thought, sir, this storm long ago had been full laid, when, if you be remembered, I paid you the last £15, besides the 30 you had first, for then you swore.
Tush, tush, sir, oaths, truth, yet I am loath to vex you. Tell you what, make up the money I had £100, and take your belly full of her.
£100?
What, £100? He gets none? What, £100?
Sweet Prue, be calm. The gentleman offers thus: if I will make the moneys that are past £100, he will discharge all courts, and give his bond never to vex us more.
£100? Lass, take, sir, but 60. Do you seek my undoing?
I'll not bate 1 sixpence. I'll maul you, puss, for spitting.
Do thy worst. Will 80 stop my mouth?
No.
You're a slave. Thou cheat, I'll now tear money from thy throat. Husband, lay hold on yonder tawny coat.
Nay, gentlemen, seeing your women are so hot, I must lose my hair in their company, I see.
Takes off his false hair.
His hair sheds off, and yet he speaks not so much in the nose as he did before.
He has had the better chirurgeon. Master Greenwit, is your wit so raw as to play no better a part than a Sumner's?
I pray, who plays a knack to know an honest man in this company?
Dear husband, pardon me. I did dissemble, told thee I was his pre-contracted wife. When letters came from him for £30, I had no shift but that.
A very clean shift, but able to make me lousy. On.
Husband, I plucked. When he had tempted me to think well of him, gelt feathers from thy wings to make him fly more lofty.
The top of you, wife, on.
He, having wasted them, comes now for more, using me as a ruffian doth his whore, whose sin keeps him in breath. By heaven, I vow thy bed he never wronged, more than he does now.
My bed? Ha ha, like enough. A shop-board will serve to have a cuckold's coat cut out upon. Of that we'll talk hereafter. You're a villain.
Hear me but speak, sir. You shall find me none.
Pray, sir, be patient and hear him.
I am muzzled for biting, sir. Use me how you will.
The first hour that your wife was in my eye, myself with other gentlemen sitting by in your shop, tasting smoke, and speech being used, that men who have fairest wives are most abused, and hardly scaped the horn your wife maintained, that only such spots in city dames were stained justly, but by men's slanders. For her own part, she vowed that you had so much of her heart. No man, by all his wit, by any wile, never so fine spun should yourself beguile of what in her was yours.
Yet, Prue, 'tis well. Play out your game at Irish, sir. Who wins?
The trial is when she comes to bearing.
I scorned one woman thus should brave all men, and, which more vexed me, a she-citizen. Therefore I laid siege to her, out she held, gave many a brave repulse, and me compelled with shame to sound retreat to my hot lust. Then seeing all base desires raked up in dust, and that to tempt her modest ears I swore ne'er to presume again, she said her eye would give me welcome honestly, and since I was a gentleman, if it run low, she would my state relieve, not to o'erthrow your own and hers. Did so. Then seeing I wrought upon her meekness, me she set at naught, and yet to try if I could turn that tide. You see what stream I strove with. But, sir, I swear by heaven, and by those hopes men lay up there, I never have nor had a base intent to wrong your bed. What's done is merriment. Your gold I pay back with this interest. When I had most power to do it, I wronged you least.
If this no gullery be, sir.
No, no, on my life.
Then, sir, I am beholden not to you, wife, but Master Laxton, to your want of doing ill, which it seems you have not. Gentlemen, tarry and dine here all.
Brother, we have a jest as good as yours to furnish out a feast.
We'll crown our table with it. Wife, brag no more of holding out. Who most brags is most whore.
Excellent. End of Act 4. Act 5 of The Roaring Girl by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act the 5th. Scene 1. A street. Enter Jack Dapper, Moll, Sir Beauteous Ganymede, and Sir Thomas Long.
But, prithee, Master Captain Jack, be plain and perspicuous with me. Was it your Meg of Westminster's courage that rescued me from the paltry puttocks indeed?
The valour of my wit, I assure you, sir, fetched you off bravely when you were in the forlorn hope among those desperates. Sir Beauteous Ganymede here, and Sir Thomas Long, heard that cuckoo, my man Trapdoor, sing the note of your ransom from captivity.
And so, Moll, where's that trap-door?
Hanged, I think, by this time. A justice in this town that speaks nothing but make a mittimus, away with him to Newgate. Used that rogue like a firework to run upon a line betwixt him and me.
How?
Marry, to lay trains of villainy to blow up my life. I smelt the powder, spied what linstock gave fire to shoot against the poor captain of the galley-foist, and away slid I my man, like a shovel-board shilling. He struts up and down the suburbs, I think, and eats up whores, feeds upon a board's garbage.
Sirrah, Jack Dapper.
What sayest, Tom Long?
Thou hadst a sweet-faced boy, hail fellow with thee, to your little gull. How was he spent?
Troth, I whistled the poor little buzzard off my fist, 'cause when he waited upon me at the ordinaries, the gallants hit me in the teeth still, and said I looked like a painted alderman's tomb, and the boy at my elbow like death's head. Sirrah, Jack. Moll.
What says my little Dapper?
Come, walk and talk. Walk and talk.
Moll and I'll be in the midst.
These knights shall have squires' places, belike, then. Well, Dapper, what say you?
Sirrah, Captain. Mad Mary, the gull my own father, Dapper Sir Davy, laid these London boot-haulers, the catch-poles, in ambush to set upon me.
Your father? Away, Jack.
By the tassels of this handkercher, 'tis true. And what was his warlike stratagem, think you? He thought, because a wicker cage tames a nightingale, a lousy prison could make an ass of me.
A nasty plot.
Aye, as though a counter, which is a park in which all these wild beasts of the city run head by head, could tame me.
Yonder comes my Lord Noland.
Enter Lord Noland.
Save you, my lord.
Well met, gentlemen all, good Sir Beauteous Ganymede, Sir Thomas Long. And how does Mr. Dapper?
Thanks, my lord.
No tobacco, my lord?
No faith, Jack.
My Lord Noland, will you go to Pimlico with us? We are making a boon voyage to that nappy land of spice cakes.
Here's such a merry going, I could find in my heart to sail to the world's end with such company. Come, gentlemen, let's on.
Here's most amorous weather, my lord.
Amorous weather?
Amorous weather.
Is not amorous a good word?
They walk. Enter Trapdoor, disguised as a poor soldier with a patch over one eye, and Tearcat, all in tatters.
Shall we set upon the infantry, these troops of foot? Zounds, Yonder comes Moll, my whorish master and mistress. Would I had her kidneys between my teeth.
I had rather have a cow heel.
Zoons, I'm so patched up she cannot discover me. Wheel on.
Alla coraggio, then.
Good your honours and worships, enlarge the ears of commiseration, and let the sound of a hoarse military organ pipe penetrate your pitiful bowels, to extract out of them so many small drops of silver as may give a hard straw bed lodging to a couple of maimed soldiers.
Where are you maimed?
In both our nether limbs.
Come, come, Dapper, let's give 'em something. Lass, poor men, what money have you? By my troth, I love a soldier with all my soul.
Stay, stay. Where have you served?
In any part of the Low Countries?
Not in the Low Countries, if it please your manhood, but in Hungary, against the Turk, at the siege of Belgrade.
Who served there with you, sirrah?
Many Hungarians, Moldavians, Wallachians, and Transylvanians, with some Sclavonians, and retiring home, sir, the Venetian galleys took us prisoners, yet freed us and suffered us to beg up and down the country.
You have ambled all over Italy, then?
Oh, sir, from Venice to Roma, Vecchia, Bologna, Romagna, Bologna, Modena, Piacenza, and Toscana, with all her cities as Pistoia, Volterra, Montepulciano, Arezzo, with the Sienese and divers others.
Mere rogues. Put spurs to 'em once more.
Thou look'st like a strange creature. A fat butterbox, yet speakest English. What art thou?
Ik, mynheer. Ik ben de roefling Tierkat, den brave soldado. Ik ben door al Deutschland gereisen. Der Schlem der mir in Visa ihrer Wert gab. Ich schlag Strokes und Tom Gott. Das wiegt 100.000, die Valhalla. Frohlich, mynheer.
Here, here. Let's be rid of their jobbering.
About to give money.
Not a cross, Sir Beauteous. You bakes rogues, I have taken measure of you better than a tailor can, and I'll fit you as you, monster with one eye, have fitted me.
Your worship will not abuse a soldier.
Soldier? Thou deservest to be hanged up by that tongue, which dishonours so noble a profession. Soldier, you skeldering varlet! Hold, stand. There should be a trap-door hereabouts.
Pulls off his patch.
Oh, the balls of these glaziers of mine eyes, shall be shot up and down in any hot piece of service for my invincible mistress.
I did not think there had been such knavery in Black Patches as now I see.
Oh, sir, he hath been brought up in the Isle of Dogs, and can both fawn like a spaniel and bite like a mastiff, as he finds occasion.
What are you, sirrah? A bird of this feather too?
A man beaten from the wars, sir.
I think so, for you never stood to fight.
What's thy name, fellow soldier?
I am called, by those that have seen my valour, Tierkat.
Tierkat?
A mere whipjack, and that is, in the commonwealth of rogues, a slave that can talk of sea-fight, name all your chief pirates, discover more countries to you than either the Dutch, the Spanish, the French, or English ever found out. Yet indeed all his service is by land, and that is to rob a fair or some such venturous exploit. Tierkat. Foot, sirrah, I have your name now. I remember me in my book of horners, horns for the thumb, you know how.
No, indeed, Captain Maul, for I know you by sight. I am no such nipping Christian, but a monder upon pad, I confess. And meeting with honest trapdoor here, whom you had cashiered from bearing arms, out at elbows, under your colours, I instructed him rudiments of roguery, and by my map made him sail over in any country you can name, so that now he can maunder better than myself.
So then, trapdoor, thou art turned soldier now?
Alas, sir, now there's no wars, 'tis the safest course of life I could take.
I hope, then, you can cant, for by your cudgels, you, sirrah, are an upright man.
As any walks the highway, I assure you.
And Tierkat, What are you? A wild rogue, an angler, or a ruffler?
Brother to this upright man, flesh and blood. Ruffling Tearcat is my name, and a ruffler is my style, my title, my profession.
Sirrah, where's your doxy? Halt not with me.
Doxy, Moll? What's that?
His wench.
My doxy? I have by the Salamon a doxy that carries a kinching mort in her slate at her back, besides my dell, and my dainty wild dell, with all whom I'll tumble this next dark man's in the strummel, and drink Ben Boos, and eat a fat gruntling cheat, a cackling cheat, and a quacking cheat.
Here's old cheating.
My doxy stays for me in a bowsing ken, brave captain.
He says his wench stays for him in an ale-house. You are no pure rogues.
Pure rogues? No, we scorn to be pure rogues. But if you come to our lieb ken or our stalling ken, you shall find neither him nor me a queer coffin.
So, sir, no churl of you.
No, but a Ben Cove, a brave cove, a gentry coffin.
Call you this canting?
Zounds! I'll give a schoolmaster 50 a week, and teach me this pedlar's French.
Do but stroll, sir, half a harvest with us, sir, and you shall gabble your bellyful.
Come, you rogue, cant with me.
Well said, Moll. Cant with her, sirrah, and you shall have money, else not a penny.
I'll have a bout if she please.
Come on, sirrah.
Ben Mort, shall you and I heave a bow, mill a ken or nip a bung, and then we'll couch a hogshead under the ruffmans, and then you shall whop with me, and I'll niggle with you.
Out, you damned impudent rascal.
Cut better wids and hold your fambles and your stamps.
Nay, nay, Moll, why art thou angry? What was his gibberish?
Marry this, my lord, says he. Ben Mort, good wench, shall you and I heave a booth, mill a ken, or nip a bung? Shall you and I rob a house, or cut a purse?
Very good.
And then we'll couch a hogshead under the ruffmans, and then we'll lie under a hedge.
That was my desire, captain, as 'tis fit a soldier should lie.
And there you shall whop with me, and I'll niggle with you, and that's all?
Nay, nay, Moll. What's that, Wap?
Nay, teach me what niggling is. I'd fain be niggling.
Whopping and niggling is all one. The rogue my man can tell you.
'Tis fadoodling, if it please you.
This is excellent. One fit more. Good Moll.
Come, you rogue, sing with me. A gauge of Ben Rum booze in a boozing can of Romville
is better than a castor, peck, panum, lap, or poplar, which we mill in Dewsville.
Oh, I would live all the light mens, oh, I would live all the dark mens, by the Salomon under the ruffmans, by the Salomon and the Hartmans,
and scour the queer cramp ring, and couch till the palliard docked my dell, so my boozy nap might skew rum booze well.
Avast to the pad, let us bing, avast to the pad, let us bing.
Fine knaves in faith.
The grating of 10 new cartwheels and the gruntling of 500 hogs coming from Rumford Market cannot make a worse noise than this canting language does my ears. Pray, my Lord Noland, let's give these soldiers their pay.
Agreed. And let them march.
Here, Moll.
Gives money.
Now that I see you are stalled to the rogue, and not ashamed of your professions, my Lord Noland here, and these gentlemen, bestows upon you 2 boards and a half. That's 2 shillings 6pence.
Thanks to your lordship.
Thanks, heroical captain.
Away.
We shall cut Ben Wids of your masters and mistress-ship wheresoever we come.
You'll maintain, sirrah, the old justice's plot to his face?
Else try me on the cheats, hang me.
Be sure you meet me there.
Without any more maundering I'll do it. Follow, brave Tearcat.
I pray, secour. Let us go, mouse. Exeunt trapdoor and Tearcat.
Moll, what was in that canting song?
Troth, my lord, only a praise of good drink, the only milk which these wild beasts love to suck, and thus it was. A rich cup of wine, oh, it is juice divine, more wholesome for the head than meat, drink, or bread, to fill my drunken pate. With that I'd sit up late, by the heels would I lie, under a lousy hedge die. Let a slave have a pull at my whore, so I be full of that precious liquor, and a parcel of such stuff, my lord, not worth the opening.
Enter a cut-purse, very gallant, with 4 or 5 others, one having a wand.
What gallant comes yonder?
Mas, I think I know him. 'Tis one of Cumberland.
Shall we venture to shuffle in amongst yon heap of gallants and strike?
'Tis a question whether there be any silver shells amongst them, for all their satin outsides.
Let's try.
Pox on him! A gallant? Shadow me, I know him. 'Tis one that cumbers the land indeed. If he swim near to the shore of any of your pockets, look to your purses.
Is it possible?
This brave fellow is no better than a foist.
Foist? What's that?
A diver with 2 fingers. A pickpocket. All his trains study the figging law, that's to say cutting of purses and foisting. One of them is a nip. I took him once at the 2-penny gallery at the Fortune. Then there's a cloyer, or Snap, that dogs any new brother in that trade, and Snaps will have half in any booty. He with the wand is both a stale, whose office is to face a man of the streets while shells are drawn by another, and then with his black conjuring rod in his hand, he, by the nimbleness of his eye and a juggling stick, will, in cheapening a piece of plate at a goldsmith's stall, make 4 or 5 rings mount from the top of his cadises, and, as if it were at leap-frog, they skip into his hand presently.
Zoons, we are smoked!
Ha!
We are boiled, pox on her! See, Moll, the roaring drob!
All the diseases of 16 hospitals boil her! Away!
Bless you, sir.
And you, good sir?
Does not ken me, man?
No, trust me, sir.
Heart, there's a knight to whom I'm bound for many favours lost his purse at the last new play o' the Swan. 7 angels in't. Make it good, your best. Do you see? No more.
A synagogue shall be called Mistress Mary, disgrace me not. Pacus palabros, I will conjure for you. Farewell.
Exit with his companions.
Did not I tell you, my lord?
I wonder how thou camest to the knowledge of these nasty villains.
And why do the foul mouths of the world call thee Moll Cutpurse? A name, methinks, damned and odious.
Dare any step forth to my face and say, I have ta'en thee doing so, Moll? I must confess, in younger days, when I was apt to stray, I have sat amongst such adders, seen their stings, as any here might, and in full playhouses watched their quick-diving hands to bring to shame such rogues, and in that stream met an ill name. When next, my lord, you spy any one of those, so he be in his art a scholar, question him, tempt him with gold to open the large book of his close villainies, and you yourself shall cant better than poor Moll can, and know more laws of cheaters, lifters, nips, foists, puggards, curbers, with all the devil's blackguard, than is fit should be discovered to a noble wit. I know they have their orders, offices, circuits and circles unto which they are bound to raise their own damnation in.
How dost thou know it?
As you do. I show it you. They to me show it. Suppose, my lord, you were in Venice.
Well?
If some Italian pander there would tell you all the close tricks of courtesans, would not you hearken to such a fellow?
Yes.
And here, being come from Venice to a friend most dear that were to travel thither, you would proclaim your knowledge in those villainies to save your friend from their quick danger. Must you have a black ill name because ill things you know? Good troth, my lord, I am made Moll Cutpurse so. How many are whores and small ruffs and still looks? How many chaste whose names fill slander's books? Were all men cuckolds, whom gallants in their scorns call so, we should not walk for goring horns. Perhaps for my mad going some reprove me. I please myself, and care not else who loves me.
A brave mind, Moll, if faith.
Come, my lord. Shall's to the ordinary?
Ay, 'tis noon, sure.
Good my lord, let not my name condemn me to you or to the world. A fencer, I hope, may be called a coward. Is he so for that? If all that have ill names in London were to be whipped and to pay but 12 pence apiece to the beadle, I would rather have his office than a constable's.
So would I, Captain Mall. 'Twere a sweet tickling office, if faith.
Exeunt. Scene 2. A garden attached to Sir Alexander Wengrave's house. Enter Sir Alexander Wengrave, Gossock, Greenwit, and others.
My son marry a thief, that impudent girl, whom all the world stick their worst eyes upon.
How will your care prevent it?
'Tis impossible. They marry close. They're gone, but none knows whither.
Oh, gentlemen, when has a father's heartstrings, held out so long from breaking?
Enter servant.
Now, what news, sir?
They were met upon the water an hour since, sir, putting in towards the sluice.
The sluice? Come, gentlemen, 'tis Lambeth works against us.
Exit servant.
And that Lambeth joins more mad matches than your 6 wet towns twixt that and Windsor Bridge, where fares lie soaking.
Delay no time, sweet gentlemen, to Blackfriars. We'll take a pair of oars and make after 'em.
Enter trapdoor.
Your son and that bold masculine ramp my mistress are landed now at Tower.
Hoida, at Tower?
I heard it now reported.
Which way, gentlemen, shall I bestow my care? I'm drawn in pieces betwixt deceit and shame.
Enter Sir Guy Fitzallard.
Sir Alexander, you are well met, and most rightly served. My daughter was a scorn to you.
Say not so, sir.
A very abject she, poor gentlewoman. Your house has been dishonoured. Give you joy, sir, of your son's Gascoigne bride. You'll be a grandfather shortly to a fine crew of roaring sons and daughters. 'Twill help to stock the suburbs passing well, sir.
Oh, play not with the miseries of my heart. Wounds should be dressed and healed, not vexed, or left wide open to the anguish of the patient, and scornful air let in. Rather let pity and advice charitably help to refresh 'em.
Who'd place his charity so unworthily, like one that gives alms to a cursing beggar? Had I but found one spark of goodness in you towards my deserving child, which then grew fond of your son's virtues, I had eased you now. But I perceive both fire of youth and goodness are raked up in the ashes of your age, else no such shame should have come near your house, nor such ignoble sorrow touch your heart.
If not for worth, for pity's sake, assist me.
You urge a thing past sense. How can he help you? All his assistance is as frail as ours, full as unconcerned where's the place that holds 'em. One brings us water news. Then comes another with a full-charged mouth like a culverin's voice, and he reports the Tower. Whose sounds are truest?
In vain you flatter him, Sir Alexander.
I flatter him? Gentlemen, you wrong me grossly.
He does it well, in faith.
Both news are false, of Tower or water. They took no such way yet.
Oh, strange! Hear you this, gentlemen? Yet more plunges.
They're nearer than you think for, yet more close than if they were further off.
How am I lost in these distractions?
For your speeches, gentlemen, in taxing me for rashness, for you all, I will engage my state to half his wealth, nay, to his son's revenues, which are less, and yet nothing at all till they come from him. That I could, if my will stuck to my power, prevent this marriage yet, nay, banish her for ever from his thoughts, much more his arms.
Slack me not this goodness, though you heap upon me mountains of malice and revenge hereafter. I'll willingly resign up half my state to him, so he would marry the meanest drudge I hire.
He talks impossibilities, and you believe him.
I talk no more than I know how to finish. My fortunes else are his that dares stake with me. The poor young gentleman I love and pity, and to keep shame from him, because the spring of his affection was my daughter's first, till his frown blasted all, do but estate him in those possessions which your love and care once pointed out for him, that he may have room to entertain fortunes of noble birth, where now his desperate wants casts him upon her. And if I do not, for his own sake chiefly, rid him of this disease that now grows on him, I'll forfeit my whole state before these gentlemen.
Troth, but you shall not undertake such matches. We'll persuade so much with you.
Here's my ring.
Gives ring.
He will believe this token. For these gentlemen I will confirm it fully. All those lands my first love lotted him, he shall straight possess in that refusal.
If I change it not, change me into a beggar.
Are you mad, sir?
'Tis done.
Will you undo yourself by doing, and show a prodigal trick in your old days?
'Tis a match, gentlemen.
Aye, aye, sir, aye. I ask no favour. Trust to you for none. My hope rests in the goodness of your son.
Exit.
He holds it up well yet.
Of an old knight, i'faith.
Cursed be the time I laid his first love barren, wilfully barren, that before this hour had sprung forth fruits of comfort and of honour. He loved the virtuous gentlewoman.
Enter Moll in her male dress.
Life, here's Moll.
Jack?
How dost thou, Jack?
How dost thou, gallant?
Impudence, where's my son?
Weakness, go look him.
Is this your wedding gown?
This man talks monthly. Hot broth and a dark chamber for the night. I see he'll be stark mad at our next meeting.
Exit.
Why, sir, take comfort now, there's no such matter. No priest will marry her, sir, for a woman, whiles that shapes on, and it was never known. 2 men were married and conjoined in one. Your son hath made some shift to love another.
Whate'er she be, she has my blessing with her. May they be rich and fruitful, and receive like comfort to their issue as I take in them. Has pleased me now, marrying not this, through a whole world he could not choose amiss.
Glad you're so penitent for your former sin, sir.
Say he should take a wench with smock dowry. No portion with her, but her lips and arms.
Why, who thrive better, sir? They have most blessing, though other have more wealth, and least repent. Many that want most know, the most content.
Say he should marry a kind youthful sinner?
Age will quench that. Any offence but theft and drunkenness, nothing but death can wipe away. Their sins are green, even when their heads are grey. Nay, I despair not now. My heart's cheered, gentlemen. No face can come unfortunately to me.
Re-enter servant.
Now, sir, your news.
Your son with his fair bride is near at hand.
Fair may their fortunes be.
Now you're resolved, sir. It was never she.
I find it in the music of my heart.
Enter Sebastian Wengrave, leading in Moll in her female dress and masked, and Sir Guy Fitzallard.
See where they come.
A proper lusty presence, sir.
Now has he pleased me right. I always counselled him to choose a goodly, personable creature. Just of her pitch was my first wife, his mother.
Before I dare discover my offence, I kneel for pardon.
Kneels.
My heart gave it thee before thy tongue could ask it. Rise, thou hast raised my joy to greater height than to that seat where grief dejected it. Both welcome to my love and care for ever. Hide not my happiness too long, all's pardoned. Here are our friends. Salute her, gentlemen.
They unmask her.
Heart, who's this? Moll?
Moll?
Oh, my reviving shame! Is't I must live to be struck blind? Be it the work of sorrow before age take it in hand?
Darkness and death, have you deceived me thus? Did I engage my whole estate for this?
You ask no favour, and you shall find as little. Since my comforts play false with me, I'll be as cruel to thee as grief to fathers' hearts.
Why, what's the matter with you? Lest too much joy should make your age forgetful. Are you too well, too happy?
With a vengeance.
Methinks you should be proud of such a daughter, as good a man as your son.
Oh, monstrous impudence!
You had no note before, an unmarked knight. Now all the town will take regard on you, and all your enemies fear you for my sake. You may pass where you list through crowds most thick, and come off bravely with your purse unpicked. You do not know the benefits I bring with me. No cheat dares work upon you with thumb or knife, while you have a roaring girl to your son's wife.
A devil rampant!
Have you so much charity yet to release me of my last rash bargain, and I'll give in your pledge?
No, sir, I stand to it. I'll work upon advantage, as all mischiefs do upon me.
Content! Bear witness all then, his are the lands, and so contention ends. Here comes your son's bride, twixt two noble friends.
Enter Lord Nolan and Sir Beauteous Ganymede, with Mary Fitzaller between them, Gallipot, Tiltyard, Openwork, and their wives.
Now are you gulled as you would be. Thank me for it. I'd a forefinger in't.
Forgive me, father. Though there be before your eyes my sorrow feigned, this still was she for whom true love complained.
Blessings eternal and the joys of angels begin your peace here to be signed in heaven. How short my sleep of sorrow seems now to me, to this eternity of boundless comforts, that finds no want but utterance and expression. My lord, your office here appears so honourably, so full of ancient goodness, grace, and worthiness, I never took more joy in sight of man than in your comfortable presence now.
Nor I more delight in doing grace to virtue than in this worthy gentlewoman, your son's bride, noble Fitzallard's daughter, to whose honour and modest fame I am a servant vowed. So is this knight.
Your loves make my joys proud. Bring forth those deeds of land my care laid ready.
Exit servant, who presently returns with deeds.
And which, old knight, thy nobleness may challenge, joined with thy daughter's virtues, whom I prize now as dearly as that flesh I call mine own. Forgive me, worthy gentlewoman, 'twas my blindness. When I rejected thee, I saw thee not. Sorrow and wilful rashness grew like fumes over the eyes of judgment. Now so clear, I see the brightness of thy worth appear.
Duty and love may I deserve in those, and all my wishes have a perfect close.
That tongue can never err the sound so sweet. Here, honest son, receive into thy hands the keys of wealth, possession of those lands which my first care provided. They're thine own. Heaven give thee a blessing with them. The best joys that can in worldly shapes to man betide are fertile lands and a fair fruitful bride, of which I hope thou'lt sped.
I hope so too, sir.
Father and son, I ha' done you simple service here.
For which thou shalt not part, Mole, unrequited.
Thou'rt a mad girl, and yet I cannot now condemn thee.
Condemn me? Troth, and you should, sir. I'd make you seek out one to hang in my room. I'd give you the slip at gallows, and cozen the people. Heard you this jest, my lord?
What is it, Jack?
He was in fear his son would marry me, but never dreamt that I would ne'er agree.
Why, thou hadst a suitor once, Jack. When wilt marry?
Who, I, my lord? I'll tell you when, i' faith. When you shall hear gallant's void from sergeant's fear, honesty and truth unslandered, woman manned but never pandered, cheaters booed but not coached, vessels older ere they're broached, if my mind be then not varied,
Next day following, I'll be married.
This sounds like doomsday.
Then were marriage best, for if I should repent, I was soon at rest.
In truth, thou'rt a good wench. I'm sorry now the opinion was so hard I conceived of thee.
Enter trapdoor.
Some wrongs I've done thee.
Aside.
Is the wind there now? 'Tis time for me to kneel and confess first, for fear it come too late and my brains feel it. Upon my paws, I ask you pardon, mistress.
Pardon? For what, sir? What has your rogueship done now?
I've been, from time to time, hired to confound you by this old gentleman.
How?
Pray, forgive him, but may I counsel you? You should never do it. Many a snare to entrap your worship's life have I laid privily, chains, watches, jewels, and when he saw nothing could mount you up, 4 hollow-hearted angels he then gave you, by which he meant to trap you, I to save you.
To which old shame and grief in me cry guilty. Forgive me. Now I cast the world's eyes from me, and look upon thee freely with mine own. I see the most of many wrongs before me, cast from the jaws of envy and her people, and nothing foul but that. I'll never more condemn by common voice, for that's the whore that deceives man's opinion, mocks his trust, cozen's his love, and makes his heart unjust.
Here be the angels, gentlemen. They were given me as a musician. I pursue no pity, follow the law, and you can cuck me, spare not. Hang up my vial by me, and I care not.
So far I'm sorry, I'll thrice double 'em, to make thy wrongs amends. Come, worthy friends, my honourable lord, Sir beauteous Ganymede, and noble Fitzalard, and you, kind gentlewomen, whose sparkling presence are glories set in marriage, beams of society, for all your loves give lustre to my joys. The happiness of this day shall be remembered at the return of every smiling spring. In my time now 'tis born, and may no sadness sit on the brows of men upon that day, but as I am, so all go pleased away.
Exit. Epilogue.
A painter, having drawn with curious art the picture of a woman, every part limned to the life, hung out the piece to sell. People who passed along, viewing it well, gave several verdicts on it. Some dispraised the hair, some said the brows too high were raised, some hit o'er the lips, misliked their colour, some wished her nose were shorter, some the eyes fuller, others said roses on her cheek should grow, swearing they looked too pale, others cried no. The workman still, as fault was found, did mend it, in hope to please all. But this work being ended, and hung open at stall, it was so vile, so monstrous, and so ugly, all men did smile at the poor painter's folly. Such, we doubt, is this our comedy. Some perhaps do flout the plot, saying, "'Tis too thin, too weak, too mean." Some for the person will revile the scene, and wonder that a creature of her being should be the subject of a poet, seeing in the world's eye none weighs so light. Others look for all those base tricks published in a book, foul as his brains they flowed from, of cut-purses, of nips and foists, nasty obscene discourses, as full of lies, as empty of worth or wit, for any honest ear or eye unfit. And thus, if we to every brain that's humorous should fashion scenes, we with the painter shall in striving to please all, please none at all. Yet for such faults as either the writer's wit, or negligence of the actors do commit, both crave your pardons. If what both have done cannot full pay your expectation, the roaring girl herself, some few days hence, shall on this stage give larger recompense, which mirth that you may share in herself does woo you, and craves this sign, your hands to beckon her to you.
End of Act 5. End of The Roaring Girl, by Thomas Middleton and Thomas Dekker.